I'm so annoying. I was gonna keep going. I have a question. Am I using the right microphone?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, it sounds perfect.
All right, good, 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 good.
Mhm.
Um, hey everyone, how are you? How are you? They say Kay is back. They, they
Oh
were
yeah.
missing you last week.
Hi guys. Glad to be back.
Oh, we missed you so much. How are you?
I am doing good. You want me to get into my weather thing or do we want to, I only talk about the weather. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
um, no, you don't only talk about the weather. I mean,
Oh, for the little intro, it's my new thing. That's all I'm doing. That's all I will be talking about anytime in the beginning is the weather.
so I am again. I don't know. We haven't done a live stream since I left, right, and came back.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Well, what happened last week? Well, I wasn't there, but yeah.
Oh, so we've missed you. I'm glad to be doing this with you today.
Me
Things are happening. So today it's only Kay and I. So we are, hopefully, you guys can struggle along with us today. Um, and we're going to talk about Iyanla, um, and Ebony, and we're going to discuss sort of what has happened and what I want your opinion. I'm going to give mine, and we're going to open up the call line for people to come in and give their opinion on it. Um, any preliminary thoughts, by the way?
Um, as far as callers go, everyone that's watching, make sure, like, think about what you want to call about because I know sometimes y'all don't want to call, but
Mhm.
make sure you're thinking of something to call about because I think this is going to be a good conversation to, open up the panel with. So,
All right. Well, let's get into it. First and foremost, I don't want to just start with the clip. I want to lead up to the clip, and the reason I want to lead up to the clip is I want to set the groundwork. Right? There was a lot of things, and Kay gracefully and graciously said, "Yes, Themis, we can engage in this dialogue, and you can lead somewhat." Of the way, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much. um, my Wi-Fi too janky to call. No, you're fine. I know it will be a good discussion. Well, Sinji, I look for. Hopefully, you can call in. I would appreciate hearing your opinion, and we are going to be using your we're going to be using your video because Shade Room removed their sound, so don't know what's happening there. All right. So when I first heard the clip, I actually first heard it on Sinji, um, and I was thinking, where have I heard this before? And it's Marriage for White People, the book by Ralph Richard Banks. There's some excerpts that I will get into. I removed all of the tabs and only left the important ones for this discussion, and we'll get into that. But one of the first thing that came to mind was Kimberly Foster, Kimberly Nicole Foster. Um, and this is what Kimberly Nicole Foster had to say. Uh, Sinji said she can email. Oh, no, no, it's fine. I timestamped it on your video. So I'll play part of your video. If that's okay with you, I'll play part of your video. All right. So here is what Kim had to say.
So somebody weeks ago asked me, okay, who would you date? This person, this person, would you date blue collar? Would you not? And I said, I would date somebody who makes less money than me, but I probably would not date somebody who is blue collar. I do date men who have college degrees. And they said, well, why? Why not? And this is my real response. And this is a real issue that I've never seen people really reckon with because I am a Black woman who has access to so many upper middle class, above average earning Black women. And I see how they've navigated their romantic lives. And this is different generations, different nationalities, different ethnicities, all Black women. And so many of them have, particularly older women, had no, college degree requirement, honestly, because if you're a certain age, you can't really have a college degree requirement and date Black men. Like, the pool just is not there. Had no income requirement, and partnered these men, married these men, and the results were disastrous. The class difference, the resentment that comes from that is absolutely disastrous. Something that Kevin Samuels nor the rest of these men are really contending with is what happens when there is a large class difference, not just financial, like socioeconomic difference, but class difference, meaning what do you do for fun? Who do you hang out with? What books do you read? What newspaper? Like, the idea that is just going to be so easy for both parties to surmount is crazy. I have never seen that happen. What I have seen happen is women saying, oh, that does not matter. We can be partnered. And the men realizing, oh, I cannot fucking handle this. There is no attention paid to the resentment from men when they are on the lower class and they have to look up to their female partner financially and socioeconomically. And there's all of these things that you don't know, experiences that you have to learn. I have seen that firsthand. And I'm not saying that, trying not to yell anymore in the new microphone. I'm not saying that these men don't deserve love, care, and affection partnership. I am saying that because I have seen the deep resentment that those kinds of dynamics create, that I would not just suggest anybody just do that willy-nilly. Like,
so there is the question now, and I'll throw it to you. I saw it in there. Someone said classism is nasty. Let me put that on the screen. How would you react to this? Because I have my thoughts and feelings, and I'm going to try to create a narrative arc as we get to Ebony's and Iyanla's interview.
So I think that some of the things that she said, like, I agree with. Like, I definitely can see how some men it would become a problem because of the man's ego, or he's starting to feel some type of way, or like she said, resentful, because they feel like the woman is at a higher socioeconomic level than them, when many times women don't even think about that. Like, a lot of women have no problem dating someone, of the same socioeconomic status or even lower than they are. A lot of women, especially as women are becoming more and more successful in certain areas and whatnot. So yeah, I think a lot of the time it has to do with the man's reaction to that situation, in terms of why those relationships sometimes don't work. And for them to work, I mean, I think both partners have to have a certain mindset that works well together, so that resentment and jealousy and all these other things that should never be present in a romantic relationship don't develop.
So the research indicates that when you marry, particularly for a woman, cross socioeconomic lines and academic lines in particular, that these relationship tends not to work because there's so much catching up to do for the person who is less successful, let's say. Because it's so difficult, it requires a kind of step putting aside of one's pride. Women tend to be able to do that easily when it comes to dating up. Men tend to not know how to handle it. I think a perfect example that is exemplified, obviously, in a lot of movies is the quintessential attorney that marries a woman that marries someone who didn't go to school, and them going to a firm function and the man not knowing how to engage with the attorneys there and not knowing how to engage. And there's a ton of, I think, social pressure for the man to be the one who provides financially. And so for a lot of both real social and economic issues and also for some psychological issues, I think it is much harder for a relationship to work when the woman is a primary provider, um, unless the man can put his ego aside.
Due to like societal pressures, right?
And psychological issues. I mean, I guess that would be part of societal pressures, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how you develop. I wouldn't advise it. I've made more than the majority of the men I've been with, and it made more. And it caused jealousy and exploitation. Don't do it, ladies. He needs to build on his own. Um, I am with this statement. The reason I'm with this statement is the starter wife phenomena. And again, the research behind how men adapt to the woman making more. It's very difficult. But the question I will ask, so I'm with Finji here. The question I will ask is, do you think Black women in particular are being told to date down?
Um, I don't think that, I think that Black women are kind of being told to be happy with whatever they can get. Um, I think that that's problematic. I think that it should be okay for anyone to have whatever types of standards that they want to have, or whatever kind of requirements, preferences, or whatever that they would like to have when looking for a mate. I don't think that people should look at Black women and be like, you know, this whole trope of no one wants Black women, you need to take what you can get. Like, I don't think that that should be a driving force behind the types of preferences that someone has as a Black woman. I think that you should go for what you want. I mean, but I know that that's out there. People say, you know, that, oh, so she's crazy if she doesn't want to date, you know, XYZ person just because of this or that. But it's really up to the individual what types of requirements they have.
Phoebe, welcome to the membership. All right, so we're going to take it a step further because Julesy also did a video a while ago, and I'm reminded of this. And I think there is an unwillingness to accept the reality about Black womanhood in relation to Black men on a general sort of economic level. I think on pure numbers, it doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna watch Jules's video. I'm gonna go to my comment in Jules's video that I did a while ago, and then we're going to move on to what the reality would look like. Because I think the men are also lying when they're like, "Oh, you don't even want to date down." We'll talk about that when we get there. But this is what Julesy had to say.
Inspired by a Patreon live that I did, and I have relaunched my second YouTube channel, formerly like my vlog channel, but baby, it's 2022. Who's still vlogging on a daily basis? I don't want y'all in my business that much. I'm more so like curating these little conversations here, okay? But I have my second channel now renamed Julesy's BFFR for real, okay? Where I will take some of the lives that I do on Patreon, edit them down for public viewership. And so one of the lives that I did on Patreon was the heterosexuals aren't okay. We talk about this resurgence of women, submission, and sex that has happened within the Black women podcast landscape, and then paralleling that to the conversation around the New York Times wedding article that featured a Black couple who met at a Popeyes parking lot. And clearly there was an economic difference between the wife and the husband that we don't traditionally see, but again, spit off a bunch of rhetoric around Black women marrying down and that being the norm for us. As this is inspired from some of the comments that I received on my video on my second YouTube channel that I've already kind of gave the landscape for. But there were a few comments, not too many, that accused me of trolling Black women, of gaslighting Black women, because in that video, I make the statement that historically there has never been a social movement within the Black community that encourages Black women to marry down. I personally think when it comes to the broader landscape of conversation around relationship advice, especially when it's targeted at Black folks, we are oftentimes invoking and conflating political discourse into relationships.
I'm not going to let her finish. So essentially, I said that she's essentially attempting to say Black women aren't being told to marry or date down. What she did in the video was say they are marrying down, but there are reasons why. And I think she's answering a completely different question. I bring this up to bring us back to the research, and we go to Ralph Richard Banks on this, who says, for college educated Black women in particular, the educational gap is stark. As I mentioned earlier, the majority of married college educated women have husbands who did not graduate from college. The outcome is consistent with the gender imbalance in the African American college population. Recall that African Americans graduate college at a ratio of 2 women to every 1 man every year. Thus, if a college educated Black woman marries a Black man, chances are good that he'll be less educated than she is. Degree holding Black wives put their education to use. In Black families, college educated wives often assume the conventional economic role of the husband. According to one study, married college educated Black women earn more than 60% of their household income, approximately the same percentage earned by the average white husband. College educated Black women are sometimes the sole earners in their family, as more than 1 out of 10 married college educated Black women have a husband who is unemployed. All right. So the truth is, Black women are marrying down. Like, regardless of where you want to come out on this, I think we have to start at a basic framework that when Black women marry, they tend to marry down more than other races of women, and they tend to date down when compared to other races of women. But also, that is amplified by the reality that Black women seemingly only want to date Black men. And this is not an advocacy for dating out or anything like that. It's just pointing out the realities of what happens within the Black community. I would like your response before I move on. You're muted.
Sorry. I was going to ask you, so while Julesy was talking, I was thinking about it. I think that it more so has to do with how race loyal Black women are expected to be and are. So with like the statistics that you just read, it's just like the likelihood of a Black woman who is going to marry a Black man, like it's just more likely that he'll be less educated than you, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's like people directly saying like, oh, marry down. I think it's more so people saying like, marry a Black man. And in that case, you would likely not be marrying someone more educated than you are. Just because in general, women are more educated than men.
Yeah, I mean, so Divinity, welcome to the membership. Thank you.
Divinity.
Race loyalty comes up, and Professor Banks says the civil rights era intensifies some Black women's commitment to joining with a Black man in the hope of establishing a strong Black family that, by its very existence, would rebut accusation of cultural deficiency and racial inferiority. Black popular culture since the civil rights era has emphasized the need for Black women to remain loyal to Black men. And then it goes into publications from Essence talking about Black love and the need for Black women to be beside Black men, because loving a Black man, quote, in America can be like welcoming home a war veteran who will be allies to Black men in their personal development, if not us, Black women. Choose a man you can love and work with him. See him as your brother. I don't know why they added see him as your brother. This sense of group solidarity is sort of limited to Black women. So you are right in the push is for Black women to remain loyal to Black men. And the literature, as it is being analyzed by Professor Banks, says obviously this was born out of the civil rights movement. He points to the Moynihan Report, dragging Black men essentially, and Black women rallying around saying, we can prove that the Moynihan Report is wrong by creating strong families when we peer with Black men. And so the literature is very clear that I mean, at least to me, it's very clear that Black women are race loyal, um, and some might say to a fault. Um, but I want you to respond to that. You don't have to obviously agree, but
Why do
I'll
you
put.
think that? Why do you think that that's preached more to Black women, or like the whole, race loyalty is like, I guess, more expected from Black women? Um, why do you think that that's the case? Why do you think that it's not the same towards Black men?
I think the narrative around group solidarity requires women to buy in, right? If men leave the community in large numbers, the community does not die because you only need a few women, a few men to continue the community. So once women are loyal and some men create children with these women, the community exists, right? It does not require um, women, it does not require men to be loyal to the community for the community to continue, right? It's the same reason men can go to war and the population can continue. You don't need a ton of men, you need women to buy in. I think another issue is whether or not women are seen as some kind of resource, right? For the men who were unable to acclimate in the new economy post Jim Crow, right? Some make the argument that women were doing better than men, and so these men could essentially sustain their own life by attaching to women. Some people call it blackmail worship, and I think I would argue that the idea of blackmail worship might have been born out of this idea that women are going to throw themselves down at the altar of black men, kind of thing.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
Ebony Magazine, even, I mean, I don't want to have to go into the Ebony Magazine thing, but the reality is when the men are online arguing, saying, why aren't you wanting to date down? Why aren't you wanting to? They don't even want to say date down. They'll say, why aren't you wanting to date a blue collar worker? Why aren't you wanting to date a bus driver, whatever? And then we get images like this, and then they're upset with images like this. You cannot. Sorry, is my computer not freezing up?
No, it's fine.
When you see images like this, I don't understand why this would upset you. If you cannot both say women with money and resource should marry men without, and ASAP Rocky, by the way, is a wealthy man. I'm using
Yeah.
him as an example. But the
Mhm.
image of the woman being the leader and the provider, if that's what you're asking for, then this is the image you're asking to see. It is inconsistent to say this is a terrible image and it's emasculating, right? These men in the manosphere are like arguing that this is emasculating and this is wrong, and she's at the front and blah blah blah, and you're mad. You can't say that while also saying that women shouldn't date down. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. It seems that if you hold those two views, they definitely are conflicting with each other. It
Yeah,
has to be one or the other, right? If that's what you think, then it doesn't make sense to think both of those things.
yeah. And even this, I'm surprised they haven't been. This is Kiki Palmer walking into the red carpet, and this is her boyfriend with the child. Like, if you are mad at these images, if
Aw.
you're mad at these images, you cannot also want women to date down. I think there is a inconsistency. There is a dissonance that exists when you're arguing that women should not have high standards financially and they should be able to be with men who make less than them. Okay, if that's your argument, you also have to argue that those images are okay.
Yeah. there are many inconsistencies, and I think that the root of it, it's just like how, you know, how sometimes people will complain about women that wear makeup or weaves or wigs or whatever. They'll complain, and it's like, okay, just find someone without them. Like, there are plenty of women that don't do any of those things, but it's like, no, I want the woman that does those things to stop doing that for me. Like, that's where I think that it's more of a power struggle, or not struggle, but like a desire for power, or like a thing where you want an ego boost. So like people that were mad at that image of Rihanna and ASAP would have been happy with the financial situation if she was like bowing down to him, right? So it's like, I feel like they want it to be both ways. Like, you can make more, but you have to bow down to this man. Or if you used to wear wigs and weaves, if you stopped wearing them with me, it's okay. But I'm not going to just go straight for the woman that never did those things. And I'm not saying no one goes straight for that person or whatever. Of course people do. But it almost seems like people complain about the things that they are seeking, and it makes no sense.
Yeah, the idea that women should submit to you, but also they should provide. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I promise.
Especially when your mindset is that the money is the thing that controls, like, that's what you've built your whole, like, whatever, all the talking points. And then it just, yeah, it's very inconsistent. And like you said, if you are going to say, you know, women should date, you know, whichever types of men, which, I mean, that opinion is valid, that's fine, but you can't also then be mad about the images that you just showed, like with Kiki or Rihanna.
Yeah, so that's the framing I wanted to go into it with. And let's read the super chat and then listen to what is being said, because I have a lot of thoughts on this, and none of them ultimately are good for, let me wait.
None of them are good.
No, because I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated with the idea that people are going to try to shame this woman for her standards. And there are a ton of people live now in the Manosphere, and they're all talking about this, dragging her. And they're the ones who are up here talking about how they have their preferences, and we should let men have their preferences and passport bros. So yeah, women are saying, yeah, I'm not about to date a broke man. Okay, that's their preference. I mean, tit for
People,
tat.
yeah, people should
Curry
be
up
able to
and
do
eat.
or whatever they want. I don't see the problem.
Curry up and eat says, no one told me, but I knew thanks to Disappearing Acts and Jason Lyrics and Martin's Pam, and Tommy, a thin line between love and hate, etc., etc. Um, I'm not fully sure. Do you understand this comment?
Yeah, so Disappearing Acts was a book. I mean, is a book, and there was a movie. I think Mekhi Phifer and Sanaa Lathan were in it. And
Gotcha.
and
Yeah.
it just has this like dynamic. So yeah, they want women to date down, but pretend like they're not. It's about image.
Yeah, I feel like they're the people who want you as a woman to give them the credit card before you go to the dinner, so that it looks like they're the ones paying.
Yeah, and if you think that a woman, again, I think that character has a lot to do with like integrity. There's so many aspects of what makes someone a good mate. In my opinion, there are lots of different aspects. But like if you are a person who wants women to be more open to dating people who make like much less money than them, then I don't know, you just can't have that mentality that you were just talking about, where it's like, let me hold the card. Like,
what they don't know is if you go out with a large group, this has happened before and I've seen it. You give them the credit card and they come back and say the name on it, and it's a female name and it's your wife or girlfriend, and the entire table saw that you just turned over your girlfriend's card. But that's neither here nor there. Kiki carries
And
that
for what? Why? For what? Like, why?
the male
Nobody
ego.
cares. I don't know. It's so
The
it just,
male ego.
yeah.
2L says Kiki carried that baby for 40 weeks. That's the least the father can do. The schman get mad at the dumbest. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Not submitting and providing. Lord help. It's perfectly fine for a woman to date down as long as she's able to accept the things he can't do because of his status.
By the way, if you disagree, we're going to open the panel for you to come on. So,
wait, what are they going to disagree? What is the stance that they're disagreeing?
My stance is it is perfectly fine for a woman to say, I'm not about to date down and I'm not dating this kind of person because it's inconsistent with my lifestyle.
You know what? I don't even see, there has to be another stance because I don't see how anyone could disagree that someone else doesn't want to. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, people are mad that Ebony is saying, I don't want to date these men. I do not want to date someone who, if you own the bus, then that's fine, but I'm not going to date a bus driver. And I don't think she meant that in the most overt sense, but even if she did, I don't care. You have a right to be hypergamous. I'm not about to date you if you're broke. Like, yeah, that's fine. I think that's fine. Like, part of choosing better is to say, I want someone with money. I also want someone with good character, who is kind and all of that. That is fine. If that is your stance, like these men are like, choose better, choose better. Okay, better includes the amount of money. Fine, that removes all of y'all from my pool. That's good.
There's just such a, you know how people talk about how like Disney movies affect girls and women and like how they think about things. I think that there is a level of delusion that some men also have that's fueled by these same types of like Hollywood tropes and whatnot. And I just, yeah, because if you want women to be open to dating a man that has, you know, less than them, then you have to take everything that comes with that. And that's fine. But you also can't tell somebody else you have to date somebody with less than you. Like, I just don't understand.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I wish my daughter would say, I don't want to date this, and people were like, oh, no, you have to. I'd be the first one in line yelling at everyone. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Come with 75%, but let's pretend I'm Manny. So I'll leave that alone for now, and then I'll come back to it, because I feel like people should date people on their level. And yes, I said on their level. I think that's the best way to do it.
Don't people generally do that? Like, generally, that's how it goes. Yeah. You're really close in socioeconomic. Yeah. So, like, sometimes when I hear these talking points, like, women would never date the average man. Yes, they do. Women date the average man and below all the time. And not even, like, whether we're talking about socially or whatever, looks wise, financially, most people are average. So most people who are dating are average. Most people who are marrying are average. Like, it's like people are making things up and to be mad about. There's no
all these alpha males with no alpha money. Right. All these, like, this is the part that I don't understand. These men really, I actually do believe this, that some people really believe that if they get the muscles and if they have the deep voice, but they actually can provide, they're still an alpha. And I'm very confused as to why you think that's the thing. I'm very confused as to why you think coming on stage, on camera, and posturing and pretending like you own things because you have a deep voice and big muscles is what it is. It's not. It's not giving alpha. But go ahead. Sorry.
It's not giving out.
It's not giving alpha.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What were we about to get into? What were you about to say? I think we were about to start talking about the clip.
video.
Yeah. Because I feel like I'm just going to keep saying the same thing over and over because, yeah.
All right, let's play this. And then after we give some commentary on this, then we'll open the panel.
Okay, I hear you articulating, Iyanla, this masculine energy traits, the competitiveness, the assertiveness. Tell me how you would frame feminine traits. Aggressive. Okay.
Grace.
Aggressive.
Yeah, aggressive, not assertive. It's okay for a woman to be assertive. Grace, first of all. I think we've lost our grace. We move in such a harsh and hard way. Grace, compassion, nurturing, nourishing, elegance. How about majesty? How about divinity? How about holiness? This is not a language you hear coming out of most women's mouths, but they'll talk about being a boss, being a diva, being, in charge. And many of us are either not seated in our throne as queens, or we're in the throne and the crown is crooked, meaning we're in the throne and we don't really know how to hold that place without the masculine aggressiveness and demanding and attachment. And it's killing us. It really is.
So in a recent interview.
Wait, before I continue, I'm going to play it, but that's not what's killing it. You know what? Let me leave that alone.
With our dear friends over at the Breakfast Club, they went very viral for very good reason. You said that women are being trained to be men in skirts. I will acknowledge, I will say I was triggered. I was a hit dog and I hollered to the entire production team to get you here today, because I actually think you're right. I think you're right, Iyanla. I do think that I'll just speak for myself vulnerably. When I think of a masculine posture and what I would expect a man to do in my life, two things come top of mind, and they are provide and they are protect. And when my lived experience, and I think I'm still relatively young, I guess, but I'm 40 in September. So, I've had some relationships, and I've yet to find a man who has shown, this includes even my father, who was absent. I've yet to have a male energy that provided or protected me consistently ever. So I think that I have taken on the reins to protect and provide for myself. Because what I'm not going to do, Iyanla, is be without. Baby, it's not happening.
Be without what?
So that be without protection, and be without the necessities of life.
Okay.
But I say that with an invitation, Iyanla, check me. Show me the error of my ways. Tell me how I might be missing it, because I might be.
Okay. I too am an alpha woman. So I understand what that means. And I tell people all the time, I was a horrible mother. I was a great father.
Sorry, I can't hold it in. I can't. Not right here. Why were you a father? Why did you have to be a father? Please explain that to me. Why did you have to be a father? Since was also talking about this, it is the absolute just unwillingness to fully tell the truth, right? Like you were telling, I don't even know if this is half truth to call it that. I think it's an oversimplification. You had to provide because if you didn't, you would not eat. Your child would not eat, right? The idea that you are just out here just trying to climb up the corporate ladder and you have a good man at home and he was willing to provide for you is not how this works. And I'm not talking about Iyanla specifically. I'm talking about as a general matter. If you believe in the patriarchal framework, right, where the woman is at home taking care of the family and the child, and the man goes out and work and bring the money home to pay for the family's livelihood or whatever, if that is the framework, the problem comes in when there is no father bringing in the money. You now have to engage in labor for pay. You have to lend your work, you have to lend your body, you have to lend who you are to this capitalistic system so that you can get paid to take care of your family. If that is masculine, then by God, it's fine to be masculine because no one is about to pay for your life. There's not a bunch of men lining up, as that woman said at the beginning of one of my video, to pay for your entire life. You
Yeah.
have to do it. If there is a lack of masculinity in our community, then the women have to then step up to the mantle. I don't even understand why people act like masculinity is some esoteric thing that only belongs to the male and women cannot engage in the work. If masculinity is assertiveness, if masculinity is standing up for yourself, if masculinity is providing for yourself, then guess what? The women gonna have to do it. If they don't do it, how are women going to eat if they don't have a man? Please explain that to me. How are women going to eat if they don't have a man? And you want to remain feminine. How are you going to eat and provide for your children? Oh, you want the woman to be able to go to work, come home, be graceful, kind, submissive, sweet, and be ripe for the picking? Absolutely not. No, you didn't uphold your end of the bargain. You don't get to expect the woman to uphold her end of whatever patriarchal bargain exists. Don't believe, like, I don't even like it. Like when men say, "Oh, you're masculine," or women say, "Oh, you're masculine." Like in my mind, women should just say, "Thank you." I've already talked about this. Women should just say, "Yeah, I'm good. Thank you." Go
When a
ahead.
man says that to me, I'm like, more or less masculine than you. So my thing is, I think that in this situation, like you said, the framework is just not there in general. Like even if we're talking about let's say women being friendly or whatever, a lot of women are not comfortable just out in society being super friendly to men because of the situations that can put you in, because there is not just that societal framework where women are safe and protected and, oh my goodness, everyone's, being chivalrous and looking out for women all the time. So the same thing with like what she was saying, like, why did she feel the need to be the father? Like, what?
In her answer, she's explaining the necessity for her being "quote unquote" masculine. In her explanation,
Wouldn't that be the lack of whoever was supposed to be in that? Like, wouldn't that be their fault? I mean,
yeah,
like you said, no one is going to come in and just, it would be different. And I'm sure a lot of women would be happy if there was just a situation where every woman and child was going to be taken care of, if you just no matter what, right? But that's just not the case. If let's say someone's the father of their children or whatever is not around, the mother has to do what she has to do in order to make the household run. So you can't then call that woman masculine for doing what needs to be done. And then if she doesn't do what needs to be done, now she's what, a bum? Like there's just is no winning in the situation. What are you supposed to do?
yeah, forget your grace, forget your kindness, forget your soft, sweet, and submissive, forget all of that, because at this point, I don't care. You don't get to require anything. That's the part that is annoying to me. You, who is costing the government $50 billion, don't get to require anything. Nope. The patriarchal bargain, and even if we want to dismantle patriarchy, if we want to say patriarchy is fundamentally bad and it should be dismantled and women should not be dependent on men, whatever, I would actually agree with the feminist take on this. We don't get there because we don't have it. Right now, the men who are talking aren't providers. We don't get to even talk about, in a system of patriarchy, whether or not, benevolent patriarchy, let's say, whether or not that should continue or we should fight it. We don't even get to that conversation because we're not even there. These men aren't providing. point blank period. They're
This
not
is
providing.
this is what I was talking about with like the tropes that, you know, enter some men's minds and have them thinking that things should be going a certain way when in reality, like that's just not what's happening.
Yeah,
It's
these
just not what's happening at all.
Myron wrote a whole book talking about how men are footing the bill for women. And I'm sitting there like, not the man costing the government $50 billion. Like, he's citing to source, which, by the way, I fundamentally disagree with this source. I fundamentally disagree with it. However, he's citing to the source, and the source is dragging women, not just black women, all women, talking about how women want to vote Democrat because they want government assistance, blah, 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 blah. And in the middle of the drag of women, it says, oh, also, this group of men also want food stamp. And in fact, they get more food stamp than white women. And that group of men were black men, right? So black men in his research were lumped in with women benefiting from the system. And I'm sitting here thinking, this is bad. Why would you do that? But in this context, it's like, how are you talking about submitting? How are you talking about being graceful? How are you, Iyanla, talking about the community without really pushing forward the framework under which black women are operating? They cannot rest in any kind of femininity, if that's what you want to call it, because the truth is they have to work. When black women came off the plantation, they went to work. Unfortunately, there was never a period in American history where black women were at home by and large and the men were providing. Blame racism, blame systemic oppression, blame Jim Crow, blame anything you want. Most of it probably is true. The reality, however, is black women had to work. So when you sit up there and you say black women are masculine and we need to get back to this and black women need to get back to their grace because black men do this and black men we do that. No, absolutely not. Nope. Because what you're going to run up against is history. What you're going to run up against is research. You're going to run up against the reality that they just don't have it. Be that good, bad, whatever you want to call it, black men don't have it. So telling black women to rest in their femininity, particularly in the black community, is a recipe for disaster. Absolutely not. I don't know who you think you're leading. That's not right. That is absolutely not right.
You know, I think there are a lot of steps that need to be taken if someone has that mindset of, you know, women need to take a back seat and men need to be the leaders, which, okay, fine. If you have that mindset, that's fine. But like we've been talking about this whole time, that social infrastructure has to be there. So yeah, I think there are a lot of steps that we need to take, you know, as Black people. I think it needs to be less about, like, if we're trying to work together, I think that it needs to be less about like, Black women need to bow down or do this or that. It should be more so like working together towards common goals, because that's all that can happen at this particular point. Because we're not in a position to have it where, like you said, women are staying home all the time and men are the ones bringing home the paycheck to take care of the family. It's just, that's not the reality for most people in America, let alone Black people.
I think Iyanla is saying that doing those things should not take away a woman's ability to perform femininity and be feminine. It will. Any amount of work is good. You call it a performance. If I am too tired, I am sure women are also tired. And ain't nobody have time to perform anything. No, if you have to go out there and work and struggle, you don't have time to be performing anything for anyone. Absolutely not. It would. Working and success should make you masculine. It shouldn't. Working and being successful does not equal masculine. It actually doesn't. But if the framework for masculinity is that, then in their world it makes you masculine. So ain't nobody gonna sit here and perform a femininity. No one has time to perform for people who are not contributing anything. Like, can you imagine? Right, you have to go out there and work, and toil the earth and come home and some man is telling you to be soft, sweet, and submissive. Well, if you want soft, sweet, and submissive, you're going to have to pay for it. And not pay for it as in buying something, but you have to own up to your part in the patriarchal system if you have a woman who buys into that patriarchal system. I would much rather, let me be clear, I would much rather a woman say, okay, whatever, I'm not about to do it. I'm not about to perform for anyone. I'm going to just do my own thing. Because in this world, I can provide for myself, so I don't need you. You're going to have to take me how I am. And that's just that on that.
And it's like you said, like there's just a problem with, I think that where the disconnect is a lot of people think certain things are masculine or feminine when they're just things that you do in day-to-day life in this economy or in this, time period, like working.
White women are literally white women are the single group of women in America that would have had it the best in terms of the man being able to provide. And even white women are opting out of the system of patriarchy because they even push forward their white feminism because they don't want to do it. So a lot of women are fighting to be in this patriarchal structure where the man is a provider, whatever. And I'm not about to get into whether or not that should be allowed or if you want to do it. I don't care. If you find a dictator, hope to God it's a benevolent one, if that's what you want. But know that the people who have that kind of access currently are fighting to get out of it. So we're not even at the second stage to describe whether or not patriarchy is good or bad. We're at the preliminary stage where, well, these men can provide, so ain't nobody, like nobody's going to buy into that kind of patriarchy. No one is about to sit there and submit to someone who can provide, protect, or read a book. Like, absolutely, you lost your mind. Talking about you need to perform femininity. Nobody is about to perform femininity. You so can perform it for both of y'all.
And how do people care so much? Like, why? I don't understand this thing of wanting random people, strangers, people you don't know, people online to do things. Like, why do you care what any other woman is doing? Why do you care what any other man is doing? Find one that you like and worry about that. That's it.
Yeah, well, the truth is, the fact is, what they want should matter at all. At all. Like, I am at the point where I'm like, what you want should not matter. It should, like, what you say and what you think, the only reason this is of any kind of import is because it's coming from another Black woman. Because if this was a Black man, it would be a full-on drag. It would just be a full-on drag because you don't have the right. Point blank, period.
So you're extending a little grace in this situation.
This is the woman who, like, you. Girl, if masculinity was an energy in a woman, it would be. Let me stop. No, because I don't like the idea that you are out here shaming people. And like the Manosphere have made particular video talking about how you are masculine, right? And the idea of masculinity and femininity is so annoying. And it's not the way the men have described it does not come through in Iyanla, but I don't think Iyanla is masculine. I think she represents the masculine woman that these men are talking about, but that does not make her masculine. That is what those men are saying. So for her to sit here and most people would actually, you know what, let me leave it alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. Let's read the super chats. I'm already getting in trouble. It's fine.
Black women are 20 to every one Black men. Black men have plenty to choose from, yet spend their waking hours trying to convince the Black women that opt out by either staying single or exercising preference, knowing the odds not to do so.
Yeah, there's so many. There are like 2 million more Black women than Black men. At this point, you can get any kind of Black woman you want. Let the ones who are like, I'm going to college, I'm getting my education, and I will stay alone because I'm happier alone than to be with someone who does not measure up. And I do say measure up, who cannot hold a conversation with me. I'm not about to diminish myself in an effort to keep a man that shouldn't be here in the first place. Absolutely not.
See, but that's that strange thing again, where, I mean, there's this thing where people, like, it seems like purposely go after or concern themselves with people that don't like them
Yeah.
and don't want them. There are plenty, like I said earlier, there are plenty of people who are looking for someone who makes them laugh, someone who's nice to them, someone who, you know, whatever other thing outside of finances. Like you can,
there are women willing to take care of men.
yeah,
Find
like
them.
every situation is available. So why be overly concerned if you know that a certain woman doesn't want you, or a certain, you know, group of women don't want you, or whatever? Why be overly concerned with those women instead of focusing on the ones that like you? I mean, I don't understand.
Ugh, it's so annoying. I'm with you so much. Like when you said it, I felt it, and I was like, I'm gonna continue playing. Let's read the super chats and then continue play this. And then after this, we open the thing.
Okay. Hollywood said Wesley Snipes was cute too. The lies.
Y'all play too much. I don't call people ugly. Carry up and
either. I don't either. Alpha Money 2023 will buy you suits from Hafiz.
The Reddit with Alpha. Thank you. Wake up.
2 L's. The animal kingdom has them in a chokehold.
Before we continue, Eden has been a member for 6 months. Women, regardless of their earnings, are expected to serve the desire of men. Patriarchy requires it. Otherwise, start the tantrums. Tantrums. Yeah, no. Even women these men don't want, they're like, oh my God, you need to do this and you need. No, absolutely not. I don't need to do anything. I don't need you. I don't want you. And if you're in my life, you better be doing something good, providing something meaningful. And this idea that, like, oh, I just need a man and any old man will do, that is an old paradigm that needs to go away. You don't need a man. If you want one, you can pick. And if you don't want to pick the ones at the bottom, you don't have to. And if you can't get anyone, I think it's best to stay by yourself than to expend your energy trying to get someone on your level and force someone not on your level to get to your level. Like, leave them be. If they can't make it on their own, it's fine. Let it go. I promise they'll get better. I had a Discord conversation today for a long time. And one of the major things that I got out of it was, let them be, better yourself, and if they want to meet you where you are, then they'll come up there. Don't kneel down to pick someone up. Absolutely not. No, don't do it. Be elitist if that's what it's called. Be classist if that's what it's called. Do not waste your energy. I don't like that. Now, if you want to do it, that's fine. I'm not giving you advice. I don't give advice, but if that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do. I don't like it though, but period. It's not for me to like. Sorry. You can critique or continue to read the comments.
So my little, rule of thumb, like the advice, like that I would give someone just in general, and it can look different depending on what is important to you. I think that your mate should make your life better, happier, easier. If the person does those 3 things like most of the time, and that can look different. For some people that means like financially, for some people that means, emotional support, for some people that means whatever the case may be, acts of service, I don't know, whatever. Better, happier, easier. Like, it's really simple. You just have to figure out the things that you actually value. But this comment from Concerned, okay, let me read it and then I'll say what I was going to say. The same man wouldn't date the cashier at McDonald's if they were a bus driver. They wouldn't date a 5 in attractiveness if they felt they were a 7. I was actually going to ask you, Themis, to give your commentary on the same like situation we're talking about, but as it relates to how some men view looks. Like, is it the same thing for a man that says like, I'm not going to date a woman who looks like this or that, or a woman that's overweight, or a woman that is a 5?
Whether they say it or not, if that's something they believe, you can't make them change. And why would we make them change? I think if some guy was like, oh, if you're not a 9 and above, then you have to bring the extra thing like cooking and cleaning and whatever. So the 9s and 10s in their minds are using them, abusing them, taking what they have, and then they're taking out on everyone else. Look, I don't do the number system. And if you play that game where you're ranking yourself among decide other way, if y'all do that, then period, y'all do that. I am a 10. I will always be a 10. And if you think that's delusional, then I'm delusional. That is what I would want to impart on every one of my kids. Who you love is who you love. You choose someone, you decide that in my mind at least, that's your person, and y'all work on your bodies together, your minds together, whatever y'all doing, do it. But you're not about to sit here and compare anyone to any. Like, I wish someone would compare. I don't know. Essentially, I don't know is my answer. I wish someone would sit there and try to compare me to someone else. No. If I am the most beautiful thing in the world, I'm the handsomest thing in the world, you are also the most beautiful thing in the world, and that's just it. That's it. We've made that decision. Let's be delusional together. If I can't have it, I don't want it. It is that, period. I don't care. Like,
right. Like, yeah, how you just said it, I can't even imagine. Can you imagine someone saying that? Like, oh, well,
it would be the last time they talk to me.
Yeah, that is very strange. Now that you say it out loud like that, like, what in the world?
Oh, you're a 10, you're a 5, you're out of my life. Like, okay, period.
You know, since you're a 5, you have to make sure you can do these other things. What? What?
Y'all out here playing games, because I think a lot of people are afraid to be alone, and I understand that, and I'm never going to tell people something that I wouldn't want to do, so I get it. But if y'all are out here playing these really dumb games, know that you're getting dumb prizes. Like, it is what it is. Beyonce got cheated on. There is no amount of beautiful you can be to make a man not do what he wants to do. That is a fact. If you think you have it in your power to change people's behavior by adjusting who you are wrong. You are in for a world of pain, and nothing good will come from that. Yes. But go on and do what you want to do.
I agree. And oh my goodness, the thing about it is, like, there was a comment about performing femininity or whatever. And you know what? And this goes for any gender. If you are performing anything, first of all, you're going to attract people that don't actually like you, because that's not even who you are. You could be cooking, cleaning, doing all these things. If that's not just who you are naturally, and I'm not saying that you can't, like compromise and do things that you wouldn't usually do. I'm not saying that. But when you put on a show, and again, this goes for any gender, you end up attracting people that you eventually aren't even going to like, and that don't like you. So it just doesn't even make sense. If you are a woman who's a go-getter and you want to work 80 hours a week and you love to stack your money and all this, just keep doing that and wait until you're in a situation where you can find somebody that you like that appreciates that about you. Because trying to be like, oh, I'm just going to do this, this, and this to get a man, that relationship is almost doomed from the beginning, right?
People running around talking about they want to submit, and like, I'm so against the submitting word. Like, first, I was at a stage where I'm like, okay, if you want to submit, I still believe this. If you want to submit.
I think so too.
Fine. I know for me, know this. Please know that we can disagree. I'm saying this because what I'm about to say is going to be kind of mean. So, when I hear someone say they want to submit, my brain shut off, and I just think just let me not say what I think. But when someone say I want to submit, girl, okay, period. I don't even care to whom. I don't care to whom. When you say, oh my God, I want to submit, okay, girl, bye. Like, do it. Do it. Just don't tell me.
I think that when people say they want to submit, it has more to do with them like wanting to be taken care of, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I think it's okay to want to be hypergamous. It's okay to want to be taken care of. I am all for that.
Yeah.
submit for me means like I just want someone to lead me because my lady brain doesn't know how to make decisions. It's like, girl, what are y'all talking about? Have you seen these people make decisions? It is not real that men are leaders because they're men. It is not real. You look around you, you know that's not real. It is not real. The idea is just ridiculous. I don't care where you got it from, it's wrong.
And the thing is, like, if someone wants to submit to their own man or their own husband or whatever, fine. But like, I think that a lot of, maybe not a lot, but there maybe is like a loud minority of men who think women should operate a certain way with men in general. And I think that's very strange. Like, you're just supposed to automatically, because there's a man in the room, you're supposed to just shut up, or you're supposed to not give your opinion, or you're supposed to act a certain type of way just because there's a man there. Not even your man, not your dad, not your man, not even your brother, just a man. I don't think that makes sense. And it goes back to that, like, I don't want to say delusion, but that hope and dream that some have for women to just bow down when they walk into a room.
No one is going to care for you like you care for you. This idea that you submit and he takes charge and takes care of you is ridiculous. If you don't care for yourself, say that. But to expect someone to care for you more than you care for yourself is sad. It's quite sad. You have to care for yourself more than anyone else cares for you.
That should have, like, that's when some of your music that you play in the background should have come on, because that was like a very serious way that you just said that. Like, the violin should have come on, or maybe like something, because it sounded really, like, I was like, oh, that does sound horrible when he says it like that. Okay.
They are just mad that Ebony and women like her wouldn't look in their direction, and they are heated. A Black woman who knows her own mind. We can't have that, right? The funny thing is, like, so many Black women don't, and like they take time out of their day to go after this woman when, like, so many, like, they have so much option. Like,
there are plenty of options. That's why, like I said earlier, why do they want this particular one? You know what? I know what it is. People like to feel that people that would seem quote unquote unattainable are attainable. So they want, like, a Beyonce to be like, you know what? I would definitely date, XYZ type person, because then they can feel like, oh my goodness, like, this could be a possibility, instead of worrying about the ones that actually like
Which
them.
is why I like the beautiful women in the manosphere finessing these men. Yeah, sure, I would date you. Now give me that super chat. Yep, I definitely would date you. You, sir, with no whatever.
People want to be, it's almost like some people want to be played.
Yeah, they want to be delusional. So Iyanla is a lawyer and public speaker with the nerve to pretend that these things qualify her to fix. Wait. So, to be fair, when I used to watch Iyanla Fix My Life, I would wonder, because I was like, she's an attorney, and attorneys aren't the best temperament generally to, like, be therapists. we're counselors, but we're different kind of whatever. I'm gonna leave that alone. Thank you, concern.
The crown's crooked because we had to fight on the way.
Right?
Two L's. What is the deal with this notion that a woman is supposed to lie on the side of the road until a man comes to scoop her up?
Girl, you need to pop into existence only when a man is ready for you. You cannot have agency or autonomy before.
Before. It's like you're just waiting, like, to be woken up. I don't know. Black women today, $4.99. In a true patriarchy, there would always be a man to protect the woman. If not a husband, then a father. If not a father, then an uncle, etc.
And thankfully, well, let me not say that. I've
Curry,
dragged enough.
curry up and eat $4.99. They don't mind your money or career. They high five other Black men about it. It's when other men outside the culture judge them, they get to name calling.
As they should be judged. As they should be judged.
Nakia Davis, $9.99. These males are emasculated by everything except being broke. They told Black women to choose better, not understanding that it means not choosing them. They are mad. Black women are listening to them.
We should accept matriarchy and just take that and be like, okay, bye. Yep, it's the matriarchy. Coco Khaleesi, welcome to the membership.
Hi, Coco. April, $5. Basically, they're looking for replacement big mamas. Black women's submission ensures that their sons will be cared for in the future after they pass away.
Someone said it's like Sleeping Beauty, and I can't find the comment, but that is precisely what it is.
Pixie, $1.99. They don't deserve a traditionally feminine woman. Lorenza, $5. Would Iyanla fix her mouth to critique her ex-bestie Oprah the same way? They're ex-besties? I don't know.
Oh,
Are they?
I know she used to work for. She was on.
Oh yeah, she did. She did. That's how she kind of got on the scene with this whole type of thing, right? Yeah. I forgot about that.
She might start her YouTube channel and start the Manosphere. She could make a lot of money telling them what they want to hear.
She could make a
My welcome to the membership. Yeah.
Hi, my.
Wash your hands. Welcome to the membership.
Hi, wash your hands. Nakia Davis, $19.99. Black men hold contempt for hypergamy when they are expected to provide. The black man's outrage for at Black women for not wanting to date down means Black men are okay with hypergamy when Black men are being supported. These men want to rest in their femininity.
Weren't they just celebrating some Black man dating Bill Gates' daughter?
I saw a few celebrations about that.
Yeah, them all for hypergamy. Like they want to be hypergamous. Like
I saw people saying "City Boys Up" or something. What does that mean? But I saw people saying that.
It means that they're wannabes. That's what it means. Thank you, Nikia. Thank you for the super sticker, S. Jalisco.
2 L's, $5. Ebony clearly stated that her experience was with all men across the racial board, but somehow the Black men caught all the strays and reacted along with the Black male worshippers. Is that what that means? BMWs? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. Yeah, I did hear her say that she said like different age ranges or something, and I think she said different races that she experienced this with. Stars Above the Emerald Forest. Oh, I like that name. $4.99. Telling Black women to choose better than presenting her with a bus driver or Bojangles cook. What's Bojangles?
Okay, so cute. LOL. Oh.
Cynthia,
let's continue.
She said that's what it means. BMW.
Yeah. Black male worship.
I saw that acronym like a lot of times and I wasn't sure, but now, okay.
I was a horrible mother because I'd never been mothered. So I didn't know how to affirm, how to nurture, how to nourish, how to guide. I knew how to direct, how to demand, how to discipline, and like you said, provide and protect. Those are masculine energies. And the distinction here is men build, women create. So we know how to build. We know how to get to the external.
I want to understand that. I do. What you mean the need to protect is a masculine energy? Have you, in nature, I don't know why I'm going to nature.
No, go to nature because I've had this conversation before on other panels and like protection, I get it. Protect and provide. Like I get why people say that's like a man's job. I get that, fine. But to say that a woman is being masculine by protecting what? Like, have you ever seen a mother in, like you said, any species when it comes to like their kids,
hens get so
offspring?
aggressive. Hens are so aggressive when
Why
they
are
have
you
their little chickens. And then I remember my dad had a farm, and I went on the farm. And those people actually wanted me to work on a farm. I was like, oh, you done lost your mind.
I was like, hens, that's a very random animal to pick. But yes, you're right. And it's think of any of them, any animal.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. And even, I mean, human beings, like you mess with a mother's child and it's gonna be a problem. It's not gonna be like, wait, I can't do this. I'm feminine. I need to find a man to take care of.
No. Someone come in. I need to go find a man because I have to be feminine. So
hey, my child's in danger. I can't do anything yet. I need a man. Like what?
These people are lost their mind. Welcome to the membership. I appreciate that. That annoyed me.
Protection is a human. I mean, it's just a thing that organisms. I'm not even gonna say human. It's a thing that organisms do. Protect themselves, protect their offspring, regardless of gender. But again, I understand why, it's been
on the Huffington Post. Iyanla said on the Huffington Post. Am I cracking up?
No.
Am I frozen?
No.
Oh, she says, I was a single mom. All right, that's all I need to hear. I don't want to hear anything else. So you weren't masculine because your mom didn't teach you how to be feminine, blah, blah, blah. No, you had to provide because you were a single mother. Like you had to. It is what it is. The dad was absent.
And
unless you were lying to the Huffington Post.
Unless she was lying to the
I mean, she could have. It was a quote from her, like what, like this idea that you're gonna shame women, like you're gonna use your own story in that you provided for your child and yourself, and you're like, oh my God, I was this and I was a provider. If you weren't, what exactly would have happened to you? And I did not miss your age, but I'm not going to go into that because that means if that man was not your age, I'm not looking into this story. We also come to the point where young Black girls are being preyed upon. But I am not about to get into that story yet because I'm not emotionally ready to get into that. The idea that women just are masculine for no reason is ridiculous to me.
And why does there always have to be like a femininity origin story? Like, I used to come home and take out the trash, and I used to do this, and I had to do all that. But now I can use the
origin story.
Why? Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. Like, why can't these just be things you were doing and now you're doing other things? It doesn't have to be like, an origin story. Like we're talking about Marvel or DC or something. I don't understand. What is going on? I don't know.
Girl, you said why do there need to be a femininity origin story?
But there is. You've heard this. You've heard this.
Every one of the women in the Manosphere, because they have to explain that they were masculine at some point, right? So every one of them, like, it's funny. I'm not going after anyone in the women in the Manosphere.
No, but it just,
they're like, yeah, I was in my masculine, but then I realized I had to be feminine. It's like, we don't care.
Whereas why can't we just say, you know what? At certain points in life, I was doing certain things, maybe whatever. And at other points, I wasn't. And then that really can show that femininity can look more than one way. It's not just silent and submissive. It's also doing what you need to do in your family as a mom or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I'm starting to see I'm just starting to notice some things. And while she was talking, I was like, look at her with the femininity origin story. Once it's never just like, I don't know, maybe I don't watch enough YouTube, but are there people who start out like, I've been taken care of and, resting in my femininity my whole life? Like, do those people talk? I don't know, because I don't watch like a
Truth
lot.
is, to go through this world as a woman requires you to adapt to certain environment. And they would all be lying if they came out and like, oh my God, I was feminine, because they know that they're going to be stories about them and their baby father or their ex-husband, or like random stories about them are going to start coming out. So they explain it away by, oh, I'm just trying to teach from my mistakes. Like that's what they do. And I'm not talking about the women in the manosphere. It's just a general thing, because even the most quote unquote feminine person have to be assertive. Like, you're not just walking around being like, oh my God, I'm feminine and submissive in the world. No one does that.
Walking around. Yeah. And that's the thing. And that's the part that, like, it's like, this makes it very obvious. If everyone has a femininity origin story, or either is considered masculine, but they're a woman, like, all these different, things should really show that womanhood, femininity, whatever, all of that is more complex than this very narrow view that everyone wants to put in it.
Oh, yeah. They want you to have.
Like, I used to be masculine, now I'm feminine. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be, I've been a woman this whole time. Women have, different things they go through, different things, just like any human. Like, women are human beings. Like you said, it's not just going to be one way your whole life. And I just think that the whole concept is strange. And I'm wondering, is it just like a thing that you say when you're trying to?
Girl, they expect these women in the hood to have their sundress on with a basket just frolicking around with their little that's the image they want, not realizing that they're the ones preventing that.
Not realizing you gotta look. Yeah, there's yeah. The ironic part, or I guess the part that I always think about, like, I think most women would love if society was safe for women and children. You could go out with not a care in the world, because you knew that no matter where you were, the men were just going to be there to make sure
but you're doing too much. You're doing too much. Requiring safety is going to make they have to do something. They just want you to be feminine. They don't want.
So then you can't be mad when women are walking around strapped and calling them masculine. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't. It can't be both ways. Like, that's masculine, but also we're not going to make a safe space for you, but don't protect yourself. Like, what? I don't know. I'm confused.
Yeah. Did you see Eboni and Iyanla's responses, thoughts? I didn't see Iyanla's, but I did see Eboni. I'm not going to look up Iyanla's, but we have Eboni's. We need to read the super chat and get to the rest of this. Sorry. Women have lifted cars to save their... Yeah, like... these people just doing a lot.
And it's like,
yeah, they definitely could. She definitely could go in the manosphere and make a killing. Folks are confusing masculinity for adult. Yeah.
Exactly. Basic adult things. Or cooking is feminine. Like, you literally need to eat to survive. Like, regardless of gender.
Girl, these men say washing their faces and having a skincare routine is feminine, looking crusty and musty.
I just, like, what? And, I think masculinity and femininity are much more abstract concepts, but whenever, like, no one wants to talk about that. Like, I think these regular activities aren't necessarily, like, masculine or feminine. They're just adulting, like she said.
Yeah. That was the origin story until they went to Professor Xavier's school. Yo,
I think we should come up with a whole.
You don't have to comment on this, but when the pearly thing happened, these men literally went up there and said the Muslim lady in the manosphere needed to swoop in and save Chicago and stop the crime. And they're like, why is she up here talking about Oyster? Why is she talking about the good white lady? She need to be in Chicago swooping in and preventing crimes. These were black men talking about the Muslim lady needed to be in Chicago stopping crime.
And see, this goes back to your comment about like the inconsistent thought. Like, how does that make any sense?
Well, Nature has our what's her? I don't know her name. It's a color. I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter. But she's in the Manosphere. The black women in the Manosphere say reformed masculine women. They are whispering sweet nothings in these men's ears. They know they are in a land of lollipops, and they are licking. They're licking. They're just taking. Thank you, Nikki. Two more. Where was your dusty baby that? Yeah, no, y'all are me. The last one, and then we can continue.
Nakia Davis, these black women aren't reformed. These black women are whispering. Oh, we already read that.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
So many obstacles. 199. I used to bite my toenails. Now I file them.
Femininity origin story. And this is the last one, I think.
CJ, $6. What does that CA mean? Do they or don't they want us to be Disney princesses?
Period. You need to be Disney princess, but they're not about to be the prince that come and save you. So you're gonna be Sleeping Beauty, just sleeping. Because none of them.
Just sleeping. Oh my God.
Rapunzel stuck in the tower because ain't nobody climbing that. That's
but then that's gonna be their masculinity origin story. Like if this all shifts back the other way. They're gonna be like, look, I tried. I was waiting. And this is how I turned into.
Girl, you go up there and lay and fall asleep and see who comes. Because if you're waiting to be saved, period. Keep waiting. Let me know how that goes for you.
And get the work done and drive and push and do it. We don't know how to be still, create it, and allow it to come to us.
Oh my God.
I learned that when I lost everything. I learned how to create because I had already built and it all crumbled. The house, the husband, the job, the contracts, the professional career in the world, stripped of it all. All the attachments, the necessities of life, the creature comforts, until I was stripped down to the bare bone. And then I had to learn how not to build is external. Create is internal. And we as women have the power to create and attract.
But is that really why? Is that why?
What that means?
Is that why? Like, what are we blaming here?
You have to learn to build, create, Girl, what are you talking? This don't make no sense, by the way.
Is that, I mean, what? Why can't it just be, you know what? This was a hard time in my life. Things didn't work out. That happens in many different situations, masculine, feminine, and otherwise, or whatever. Why does it have to be about, I don't know. I'm having a hard time.
On a metaphysical level, she was building, but she needed to stop building and start creating.
So is that what we can say anytime something that we wanted to do doesn't work? You know, I was trying to finish up this painting, but I realized I was building and not creating. I wanted to, you know, go to the gym at 5 a.m. instead of 7, but, you know, I realized I was building, not creating. Like, what? What does that have to do? I don't know, but people will probably say I'm masculine for not understanding.
Period. I'm not in tune with my third eye hasn't opened fully yet, so that's probably why I don't understand it. Origin story. I used to open doors for myself. No, I just wait.
See, I think this origin story thing is gonna be. I think this was good. That was a good. I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that one because
No, I just wait for passerby to do it for me. Period.
she said, Nakia Davis, 499. She said she would build with a bus driver, but noticed that she mentioned a prenup. Oh, what did she say about prenup? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, wait, let's play. Let's continue. Sorry.
Anything we desire, but we don't get still. We won't shut up. And we manage everything through fear, control, and survival, as opposed to feeling, knowing, and blooming or flourishing. Complete different thing. But since we've never been trained, we haven't been taught. So we do it the way we were taught to do it, which is very masculine in nature.
Okay. I'm looking forward to straightening my crown, Dr. Iyanla. Let me ask you this. Let's get to the logistics, though. We know that Black women are earning college degrees faster than anybody else. Many of us are doing like we're doing, Iyanla. We're getting those terminal degrees, those JDs, MD, PhDs. We also are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, along with Latina women in America. Pew Research said that women are now out-earning men in 22 of the largest cities in America, including where I live, New York, DC, LA, you name it. When we talk, and I know that you've said that you cannot teach a man or tell a man how to be a man. So I will not ask you to indict men in this question. But I do want you to speak, Iyanla, to how women need to, position ourselves so that we can be in our divinity, so we can have our crowns right, how we can create and not build, when some of us, quite frankly, feel that the men that are available to us, and I'm talking about across the color spectrum, across the age spectrum, trust me, I've done them all, they are not positioned to protect nor provide because of some of the statistics we just talked about. They're not earning the incomes. They're not having the resources, and some of them are not even showing up in the leadership.
Would you date a bus driver?
What that got to do with her question? What does that have to do with her question? Don't answer my question with a question. What does that have to do with her question? She said the men don't got no money. What would you date a bus driver? That doesn't answer my question. These men don't have money.
I don't know what. Okay, so asking about the bus driver, I think it was just kind of a way to direct the conversation maybe into like a different direction than it was originally going with her question, because maybe she didn't know what to say, or maybe she didn't have an answer. That's a strategy.
Would you
ask something?
The man can't provide, the man can't lead, the man cannot take on the head of the household because they don't make enough money. They don't have the resource. Some of them aren't leaders. Would you date a bus driver? I will answer that question after you answer mine.
That's what she should have said. I mean,
well, I don't want no better for us. That's why there's so much gibberish in her diagnosis. She don't want to drink the poison alone. I don't know if this is fully true. I think a lot of women have bought into save the Black man rhetoric. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm saying, well, I'm saying you shouldn't. But I am saying for this specific case, she's unaware. Well, maybe she's aware. Because, like, how do you not engage with anything Eboni's saying at all? How do you just, like, not engage?
Because now look at what's being talked about, right? In terms of the headlines, like the headlines about this whole interaction. Now it's all about the bus driver thing instead of like a better conversation that could have been had. Because like we keep on saying, women are absolutely dating bus drivers. Blue collar men are, getting married, dating. Like it's not like, oh my goodness, blue collar men are having a hard. No, they're not. Like people can date people. You just got to find the people that want to date you. But I think that like now that that's become the focal point, when that's really like a non-issue, because people who drive buses, I'm sure, can find someone to date. Like, I don't know. It just took away from, I think, a better conversation that could have sparked from this.
Yeah. Why should any woman should listen to a gay man? Because a lot of gay men don't have to get hooked on phonics before they put out a comment that don't make no sense.
Why
So
should
it's best to listen to someone, gay or straight, who can formulate sentences, even in a comment section. That's probably why. Wannabes.
should any woman should
Yeah, it's a struggle. Whoever did this is a struggle. They are a struggle. This is just struggling.
and by that logic, women shouldn't be listening to anybody except for their own man then, right? Like, if it, like, by that logic, I don't even know, but yeah. Or just
Useless people do useless things, make useless comments, and they are obviously useless. So it doesn't really matter. Arjun's story took Batman out of the home.
Oh, shout out to all my boss B words, wife and N words. Make sure you hit them with the prenup. Aubrey.
Oh, let me finish. Let me read all of these and then we can finish.
April, $5. Boss, why were you late? Me. Would you date a bus driver? Right. Like, that question.
That's how we're getting out of trouble 2023. That's how we're getting.
Why were
That's
you
how
late?
we're getting out of trouble and conversation 2023. Why was the assignment late? Would you date a bus driver though?
Because what? And the fact that bus drivers should feel insulted, because why did she think that was going to be like the...
Oh, she's making a judgment on bus drivers.
That's what I'm saying. She is literally doing the thing that she thinks she's trying to... I don't know. I just see it, right? Isn't that what's happening?
Yeah, she's like, how low would you go? A bus driver? That's not a respectable job.
Bus drivers are very important parts of society. Like, we need bus drivers.
Did you see that white bus driver who slammed on the brakes and hit the kids in the, like, oh yeah, he's being sued or something.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
she just
came after the degree and network, right? I also resent the building in the world. It's saying black women are in sin for making a way. No, and here's the insidious part. The people with the degrees, right? They're out here talking about, if I knew, I wouldn't have gotten my degree. Well, you have it. So I'm going to go get my degree and then I'll regret it afterwards too. You tried it.
Wait, if they knew what?
So there's some women online talking about, oh, I am now feminine. If I knew, I would have prioritized a relationship and not this degree. It's like, oh, okay, girl, good. Good for you. Well, I'm about to go get this degree and then come back and say the same thing.
And the thing is, like, oh my goodness, don't even get me started on the education conversation. But the thing is, like, many occupations require a degree. So does this mean you don't want any black women to be teachers?
Well, they would know because they're unemployed. I'm sorry.
Like, plenty of careers, you have to have a degree. So if you're saying that
they would know nothing about a career and a degree.
If you're saying that, like, women shouldn't, or, you know, shouldn't prioritize, that means you're saying that black women shouldn't be a part of these industries, which makes no sense.
Yeah. I'll take my masculine degree and my masculine prenuptial. My money is my money, period. What is that? Afro Butterfly. Ellen Pompeo, Heidi Klum, Kim Kardashian didn't have to build with black men, but black women are supposed to, right? I forgot. I think Finchi was the one who showed this video where they were doing street interview and all of the black women were like, money's not important.
I saw that on TikTok.
I was like, oh, I hope, if nothing else, I hope my child knows better. I hope my nieces know better. Unless the world fundamentally changes, money is important in my book for building anything. Now, if y'all are going to be together and not have a family, then fine. But the reality is, I'm tired of seeing children just not being cared for and provided for. And I'm not just talking about wealth or rich. I'm just like children not having access. And the socialist will say, oh, but the system is supposed to help provide for the children. We know that welfare and all of that stuff does not actually provide a good life for the woman and the children, or even the man and the children. So, like, the government currently does not provide sufficiently for people who don't have it. You're bringing people into really bad situation. I'm gonna leave that there because the last time I did that, we had a fight. So I'm not gonna fight with the chat again. Jas says, stats show males who earn less than their partners become abusive and the women do more housework to help him compensate for his bruised ego. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's continue.
Would you date
If he owns the bus, if he owns
No.
it, if he owns the bus,
See, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Okay.
Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men.
Why is that a problem? No, absolutely. I have to stop it every 2 seconds. Why is that a problem? She said she wouldn't date a bus driver. Why do you want her specifically to date a bus driver?
See, that's the thing. That's the thing that we got to keep going back to that. Specifically her. Why? I don't think it's a problem if one woman or whichever individual, let me put it that way, does or doesn't want to date any type of person. I don't think that that becomes an issue, especially considering that in reality, many, many, many women have, will, and do date bus drivers.
Yeah.
Like, this is not, and I still just feel like this is a slap in the face for bus drivers because they're probably sitting at home like, what? I get women. And the thing is, they wouldn't probably, this particular woman, the places she goes, wherever, she's probably not, I don't know. I just think that it doesn't make sense to concern oneself with what an individual wants. It just doesn't make sense.
Hey, Kay, just want to say I love to see you over here. Love this for you and me watching. LOL. Oh.
Cannon. Hi, Cannon.
Racer, I'm not responding to you unless you're willing to grab that link and come up here. So
Yes.
unless you're willing to come up here, I'm not about to engage. Please note that I'm not about to engage. All right, let's continue.
Somebody said bus drivers are like, why are you bringing me into this?
Right.
Yeah, I want people to come up and converse because it's easier. Let's hurry up and get through this and then open the link.
Who we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he.
So she probably wouldn't date a bus driver either.
You know, and I get the point she's trying to make because I agree that there are like plenty of things, and I think I said this earlier, that go into choosing a mate that's right
I
for
don't actually believe she's making a point. I believe she is coddling people's ego. That is it. That is all. There is no reason to be mad at someone saying, I'm not about to date a bus driver. Okay, cool. You don't want them. Someone else want them. Actually, I would date them. I would date them if they loved it. So if they don't love driving a bus, you won't date them either. Got it. Maybe there's a lot of bus drivers who actually love driving a bus. I actually don't know any, but I can think of some that might. All right, fine. But you don't sound like you want to date them either. With all these qualifiers, like she had a ton of qualifiers.
And that's the thing. She could have made a good point because I think I see where she was trying to go. But this whole analogy and like, or whatever, I don't know if this is even considered an analogy, but like this whole like direction she's going with it, I think takes away from the better point she could have made.
As hypergamous as these men are, I am sure a lot of them are reaching out to Iyanla. I am sure of it. So you're being picky too. Let me play that again because it felt like she don't want him either.
Date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus driver. But we think that it's another human being's responsibility to give us what we need instead of us building together. I can build with a bus driver. I'd have my little stash over on the side in my prenup.
Why would you be building when you need to create? I have a problem with you. No.
You're
Why
like,
do you
wait a
think you would
minute.
be? You literally said it was masculine to be building. Why would you be building with a bus driver? Why on God's green earth would you be building with a bus driver when you said it's masculine to build and that you are not going to build, you had to learn to create? Why are you over here building with a bus driver?
Based on what she said earlier, yeah, those are two conflicting views. And you know, the whole like this is the part where she just said, you know, she would have her stash of money on the side. She said she would have a prenup. She said he gotta love that bus. He has to be this, and that. My thing is, again, and I know that one man thinks that we're missing the point, but she could have absolutely had this conversation about more qualitative things when looking at mates versus like quantitative. And that could have been a good conversation, I think. And I think a lot of people would have agreed, you know, you want to pick someone that has integrity, someone that's honest, someone that's, you know, whatever the case may be. But she just like undid her whole argument earlier.
She's literally like, I'm a build. Well, you don't have to build because you have the money, so he's going to come in next and you can give him what you have. But you just said, you just shamed women for building. And now you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll build with a man.
Wait,
you just shamed women for building.
Wait, is asking your man for a prenup masculine or feminine?
Girl, I don't know, but it sounds very masculine to me.
If we had to categorize it, what do y'all think of that? Is it masculine or feminine to ask your man for a prenup?
In the military. She did say building in the beginning, right? So I'm not putting words in her mouth.
No, she said she used to be a builder. Remember, that was the origin, and now she's a creator.
But the word building was the word she used, because I hear the word build specifically in my mind.
Yeah, because she said build versus create, because I remember thinking like builders create, creators build. I remember thinking that specifically.
All right. So it is conflict. All right, got it. I'm a bit tired. So good. So she's not going to build for herself because building for yourself is masculine, but building for a man is feminine. Got it. Makes sense now. Thank you.
Building the home building for your family and your children. Wasn't that what it was about earlier? Like,
yeah, she was like, building. These people just lying. A word salad. None of it makes no sense. There was people in the chat I saw them talking about, oh, you just don't understand. She's talking metaphysically. Building is a masculine on the third plane, and you are just not on the 12th dimension. That's when I said my third eye isn't open. I was responding to these comments. Okay, where is that commenter who was saying that now that she said she's going to build with a man? Let me know. Where are you? Keep it. To come back and tell me, how am I not understand? You said the word build on the 5th dimension meant something. Please come back and let me know what it means.
Do you keep saying a different dimension each time you say it? No. I thought you said... Yeah. There was a comment that Sinji said, if she's keeping her money separate, then she's building on her own. That's what I was thinking too. Like, how are you going to be like, you know, now, don't get me wrong. If you want to have your money on your own, fine. If you don't, fine. I'm all about people doing whatever they want to do that works for them, date who they want to date that works for them, whatever. But I think this is another one of those situations where it's conflicting, because is doing this, like what she just said, building and having your money on the side and getting a prenup and all these other things, do these fall in line with the ideologies shared earlier?
No, she just played in our faces at this point. She's there to shame that. Thank you, Sinji, by the way. She's there to shame that woman, and that, by God, is what she want to do. I don't like it. 15 black male worship chakra gates. Oh my god. Bushy brows. Do you watch Naruto?
No, but a lot of
Oh, never mind. Never mind. It's
apparently
fine.
do. You watch it? Maybe I'll start.
It's fun.
I hear a lot about it. I hear all good things.
Yeah.
Black Women Today, $4.99. Her saying she would build with a bus driver shows that she wouldn't actually be satisfied with a man at that level, set up for disaster.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Like, ain't nobody building. You said date a bus driver and you be what are y'all building?
Oh, and then that's a good point that Black Women Today made, because if you just said earlier that you were not able to be like well, I don't know if she said it verbatim, but she was basically saying women shouldn't build, they should create. But so if you're being taken out of your creator role into your builder role, isn't that going to cause a problem if that's what you believe? If that's what you believe.
Barb the builder. I mean,
Oh, Bob the Builder.
no. I would date a bus driver if he had a mansion made about 600K, had no kids. You want to know something? This is what it sounded like to me. You can qualify the mess out of the bus driver to the point where it's no longer a bus driver. Yeah, I date a bus driver if he a billionaire comes from the Kennedy family. Like, just keep going.
And this is how you know that like that was just meant to kind of be a viral moment, or like something that was gonna, because what it took away from the essence of even the point. I don't even know.
Yeah,
I think
when she started qualifying the bus driver, I was like, girl,
yeah,
you're not about to date him either. It's fine.
Hey, Haji, $4.99. What bus drivers are trying to build, though? They're usually very comfortable with just working, going out, and shopping. Okay, what? I don't have any stereotypes about bus drivers.
Me either. I actually don't know anything about bus
I don't.
drivers.
He said, "Wait, and sleeping." What? I'm very confused at this point.
Wait. Are there stereotypes about bus drivers that I was just unaware of?
I thought it was a nice career, a job for people to do that's very needed. I didn't think anything negative about bus drivers ever. Like, what? Who knows? Who knew that there was like stereotypes? I don't know.
But I can build with a bus driver. So I think some of the criteria that we look for in the reality of today keeps us unhappy, keeps us angry, keeps us imbalance. And then when the men show up, we want to beat them up because they're not living up to our standards and criteria. And it's not working, beloved.
Whose standard? If men are trying to date you, whose standards should they be living up to? If they don't meet your standards, why would you be dating? Like, that don't make no sense. Yes, if they don't meet your standards, don't date them.
Would you even want to date somebody who you didn't meet their standards? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Why would you have standards if you're just gonna date people who don't meet them?
I'm confused.
Girl, why have standards? Don't have standards, boundaries, or expectations if you're gonna just have standards to throw them away. Do you remember the song "Hail to the Bus Driver"? No, I don't know the song.
Never heard that song.
It's just not working. So it's not that it's bad or wrong. It's obsolete. It's obsolete. We have to come up with a new way of being.
Now, you guys saw that.
All right. I can't have Finji's drag because by the way, if you haven't seen the drag, please go over there and see the drag. But I'm going to go quickly to the part where she responds. So a bunch of people are like mad, like, how dare you have standards? What? You won't be able to find a man if you have standards and blah, blah, blah. But earning money is masculine, but spending it is feminine. How do men expect us to be feminine if they will not give us money? I want to play this so bad because I definitely watched it before it came on.
that video and listen. On the surface, and to some black male worshipers who bought into this non-existent notion of black love, and the reason I say it's non-existent, because at the end of the day, the only people who care about and value blackness are black women. You are dealing with, by and large, a group of men who could not care about black love, black families, or black relationships, and they illustrate it in their behavior.
Wait, no, I can play it, but please go watch. Let me go to the other part.
And you are suffering because you complain about how much work you have to do. You complain about the nothing ass bitch status of these.
Sorry, no, I wasn't ready. I'm gonna move on. This dead. Cynthia G is dead wrong. I guess. I don't know why I played that. That was a mistake, y'all. It was just again answer if your standards are too high because she doesn't have real. Yeah. Whew. All right. So after all of that, she came. She came back. People have been dragging Eboni online, and Eboni came back.
That even considered the possibility of a bus owner being a more aspirational position, and recognizing that I am actually speaking and pouring into the ascension of black men when I said what I said. But see, no, some of y'all were too busy naming and shaming me personally and black women in general as undesirable, gold diggers, and much worse. Now, I suspect that some of y'all are the same men that were bringing home C's and D's on your report cards, only to then be coddled by parents that said, well, that's okay, as long as you're doing your best. Well, listen, I love and believe in the excellence of black men. So no, my dear, C's and D's or any other form of mediocrity is not okay. No, I will not create a soft place for you or anybody that I love to fall comfortably into the bigotry of low expectations. So I'm going to say one more time, there's absolutely nothing wrong with driving a bus. My mother Gloria drove one for years. But could it be that Black America has been sold a narrative of average, regular, and typical being good enough for us? Well, see, that's called white supremacy. And in this case, it takes the form of conditioning Black Americans to happily accept being a permanent American underclass. But see, because I know the truth about Black folk in America, no, average is not and will never be good enough for me. And the gag is, I don't think it's good enough for you either.
Now, you guys heard that video and listen. Eboni K Williams ain't concerned because at the end of the day, what she basically said is, if you want to settle for a nothing ass bitch, you can. Oh, that's good. That's why people were putting NAB. Not an
Sorry. Ugh. All right. I dropped the link. She said, I'm not going to apologize for anything. I said what I said. I'm not going to backtrack. You're going to be mad. I'm not going to date down. It is what it is. You need to step up to the plate, and I'm not going to bow. I'm not bending the knee. So, period. And I'm here for it. I like when people have their standards, know their standards, and stick to it. I like that.
Yeah, people can have their standards. And I think it's good that she said there's nothing wrong with being a bus driver, because there's not. I think that there are people for everyone, and some people want to date bus drivers, some don't, and that's okay. I mean,
yeah. All right.
People can date who they want.
So the link is dropped for anyone who disagrees with anything that we've just said. We want to allow you the space. The space. We want to allow you the We want to allow you the space to come advocate for why everyone should date down.
When you frame it like that, like who has that point of view?
Apparently people have been mad and they want people to not have standards. So if you believe Black women in particular should not have standards, please come up and tell us why. All right. Say it a better way then, because I don't know how else to say it.
That's why, like earlier, I was like, who's
up here? There, James is up here to tell us. James, go ahead.
Well, I don't really think that it's like dating down, but I think in terms of everyone, I think there's kind of like a dream. Then there's
wait. You don't think what is dating down?
No, I don't think we should like view like in terms of like dating human beings as dating down. Like that's just my reality. Like I think from human to human, like I don't think we should view one another based on like a monetary value or like a status value as dating down.
So would it be better if she said, I don't not date down, but I don't want to date someone who makes less than me?
No, yeah, I understand. I think that's basically what she was saying. I understand what she was coming from. Like,
sorry. It doesn't sound like you're upset. You are saying don't say date down because of humanness. You're saying the idea is bad.
No. Okay, so what? Yeah, I don't think like. Okay, let me clarify what I'm saying. I don't think it's wrong in the sense to say that I don't want to date somebody for a specific reason, like because they're not matched with me in terms of education levels, in terms of like monetary goals or something like that. But I do think though that there is a reality aspect, like in terms of her specifically. I think when she called into the show, when she was interviewing with the woman, I think one of the issues she was saying was that like she's having problems like finding men that are on her level. But I think the reality though is that like at her age and her income, there's a very small pool of men who are what she's looking for at her age.
Yeah, and I think she understands that.
No, but I mean, but I don't think she does. I mean, I don't think she understands the reality though, because what she's saying is that
what is the reality?
No, the reality is that there are because her response was that
no. Are there men on her level that makes
they are, but they don't.
All right. So what is
what I'm saying is there's never going to be enough. Like so, her response video, like when she responded back to all the controversy, was that she said more men basically need to level up or come up to the level. But but this is somebody that's earning millions a year. That's not practical. You cannot.
There are men on her level. It's not men need to be millionaires. It was men could own the bus.
But in order to own the bus of the bus company, you got to be pretty well off. You got to like, if you're owning the bus or basically the way she was inferring is you have to be like successful. So I'm assuming
you have to be successful. The issue is if she specifically does not want to date down, what is the problem with that?
No, I don't have a problem with that. But my only issue was with her response basically when she came out.
No. See, sorry, I'll let you go because I don't want to make it like antagonistic. The problem is I feel like a lot of men weaponize the reality that other men are not financially okay, are not okay in terms of their ability to read and write or whatever. And so when you do that, you are saying, well, now you have to settle. And it's like, no. So the women can decide to date out, to date around, to date each other. I'm not promoting anything, but to the extent that I feel like this idea that women don't have any option because the reality is men don't have it means they have to now settle. No, you need to level up. And I think that's a good approach, I think.
Wait, who are you saying needs to level up? The men or the women?
The men.
But even then, I have a problem with that though, because
why?
Okay, so in terms of so you want something, right? If she wants a certain group of men, and she's saying there isn't enough of that. You can't complain to that. If I go and I want a Ferrari,
she only needs one.
Huh? No. But if I want a Ferrari and they only make 400 Ferraris a year, and the Ferrari refuses to sell it to me, I cannot complain to Ferrari and say there needs
Yeah,
to be more
but
Ferraris
there's
made
not a
every day.
refusal to sell. There's only a refusal to sell if you're like only in one community.
Okay, but I think the basic problem is there's this idea that because even if we extrapolate out, the average person in every other group isn't making that. Only 10% of men in this country make over 100,000. Eboni K Williams makes close to 7 figures. Like, she's been on so many
Yeah, but
reality shows.
no. You keep doing that. Does she have options at all?
I don't know if she has options. No, in terms of options that she wants, most likely not. Because she
You
was
don't know
on
that. You don't know. See, that's what.
Okay, hold on. No. But the show that she originally called into, though, she started complaining about her options, though. That's
Yeah,
what that's
she said
this
there
entire
are
thing's
not a lot of men up there. Maybe
No, but if she had options, though, why would she be complaining?
there's not a lot of there. You can have options but want more.
Oh, so then okay. So then what does she want then? Like
more options. What do you mean?
Wait, no, but then I don't understand what the issue then is. So she wants more options. Like, she's upset that she has a few or a certain amount, but she wants more. What is it? So there's 10 men that
she is probably looking around and thinking, "Oh, there's not a lot of black men here."
But she doesn't say black men though. If she
she does not say black men. But you ask for an
example.
Actually, no,
I have a problem with that as well, because
you asked for an example and I gave you an example.
No, but she was engaged to a white man before.
That's what I'm not telling you. I am not telling you that she's specifically looking for black men. You said, how could she want more option?
No, I didn't say how could she want more options. What I'm saying is that what I'm saying is, if she's saying that she doesn't, she has gone on. She called into the woman's show talking about a lack of options. And that's why I don't really I'm more towards the middle. I don't really agree with everything the other woman was saying, but I think the reality is that she's not seeing anyone around her, because that's
not what she's saying. You're literally just adding stuff. If she wants more option, it doesn't mean there's no option. She just wants more option.
Okay, we're just pontificating at this point.
No, we're not pontificating. She literally said she wants more options. Am I mistaken?
Okay, so she's not looking for a relationship. She just wants more people to ogle over them, because
she wants more options so that when she makes this is an example. I would prefer there to be more, so when I make the decision, I can say, "Oh, this is what I want," right? And that I didn't feel forced into being with one person. Obviously, if there's not more black men, there's not going to be more black men up there before in this lifetime, or more white men, or whatever men she wants, right? The issue I'm having is people leaning into the reality that men aren't successful, and so because of that, women have to settle, as opposed to, wait, we need to be better.
No, it's not. I disagree with that conclusion. This idea that needs to be more successful, first of all, it's rooted in rooted in everyone, okay, there is once again, there's an X amount of people that can be successful. We're in a capitalistic society. This whole idea that everyone can be successful, everyone can be
I agree with you. Not everyone can be successful.
Most people cannot be successful. The system,
even if I agree with that, you are still not answering the question. Have we reached the number of people who can be successful?
Have we reached the final number?
Yeah, is it? We capped out. No more people can be successful.
I mean, now we're just straw manning, because I don't.
No, I'm asking.
I mean, all I'm basically, because this seems to be a recurring theme when it comes to these issues. And this is not even a new topic. This has been going on since like the 80s. Like, with people saying, "Oh, more men need to level up." No, what's really the reality is that you have because historically speaking, there weren't many women who were in these spaces, who were making this amount of money, who were able to get this access to education. Now they're in these fields. So now, because we're in a transition anyway, in terms of how gender roles is changing and how we interact with one another.
Sure.
So these women are still, but women like Eboni, because if you speak to herself, she said that she's looking for a man who can provide and help for her. But historically speaking, somebody
she did not say she was looking for a man to provide.
No, you need to go back to go watch
she said she wants a man. No, she said verbatim, she wants a man on her level.
No. When you go through the entire interview, she said her father was not in her life. She needs a man that's on her level or can help lead her or whatever she was saying.
So on her level, or the or is important.
Okay, but
so
either way, my point is though that once you get to a certain bracket, there are a smaller and smaller amount of people in that pool. Versus for most men, like I'm not this way. Like me personally, when I date, I look for people that are on my educational level. But for most richer men, they don't care. They'll go like they're not like Ebony. They will go down the street and marry some chick from like Costco. Or
no, that's
How do you
not
know?
true. Wait.
People say that all the time. How do you know that, James?
No, this is not
because
true.
the numbers push viewed it out. This is how
that's not
and not just how I know that these are gender norms in this society.
Stop yelling. That's the truth.
James,
James,
can
go ahead.
That information in the back chat just so that I can read it because I'm just interested. I'm not trying to say you don't have it. I just would like to see it. If you could possibly just quickly bring it up on Google or something. But I think, okay, so James, is this what you're trying to say? That the more filters you put on on something, the less results you're gonna get, basically. The more
basically. And
okay, then that's great.
I think everyone.
Wait. No, I'm going back to this. When she says she wants someone on her level, what is the problem with that?
I said before I have no problem with that. I have no problem with
you
her
were saying something like men will go out and date a random fry cook or something like that.
No, I'm just using that as a general example. But men,
that's not true. People tend to date within their socioeconomic bracket.
That is true. But men at that level men at each level tend to have lower standards in terms of. In fact, no. Men and women tend to have different.
Even if we're thinking about lawyers, doctors, they tend to marry within the professional group.
People have been watching Pretty Woman and watching these movies where that trope is pushed and shown. But
I'm just using it. I'm just using it as an example. What I'm saying is, versus a man and a woman at their same level. He would be. I'm not saying he would date a bus driver, but he would be more. He would have a wider gender pool. First of all, too, there is.
Why are you saying that though?
Because it's a reality.
Can you? Okay, reality based on what? Can you show me somewhere?
Okay, I can pull it up.
Okay, just put it in.
All right, while you're pulling it up and then you put it in the back chat, let's read some of the super chats.
And remember, the thing you're trying to prove is that men are more really wealthy men are more likely to date. You said someone that works at Costco than wealthy women are to date someone that works wherever. You didn't give an example for the woman, but remember, that's the point that you were trying to prove.
Yeah, because historically you were right because women couldn't work. Now that women are working, generally people date within their socioeconomic status and their academic level. The only group that doesn't do that is Black women. The issue is people who don't do that, their marriages tend to not and relationships tend to not work. If women can do it, why can't these men who are the builders of everything, right? No, that's the separate thing that we're going to get into. Because women
wait, hold on. Is she coming up on the panel? I'm gonna leave if she's on the panel. I've heard some of the stuff she said. I don't want to be associated with her. I'm sorry. That person who just sent the super chat. I don't know if that's the actual person, but I respect you guys' show, but if that person's coming up on here, I don't. I can drop the link.
I'm waiting for. I mean, if she comes up, she comes up. If she doesn't, she doesn't. But I'm not gonna stop her from coming up because you're afraid.
But don't forget before you.
I'm not afraid. I just don't I'm saying if she is coming up, then I'll just gladly leave.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I'm afraid.
If you are afraid of her being up here, that's
I'm
fine.
not afraid of her.
Okay.
I'm not afraid of her.
Wait, if you leave, because we don't know what's about to happen, can you please put the information?
Yeah, I'll find the information.
Okay. Because I'm not saying it's
I'll
not.
Find it, but also back to my just summarizing what I was saying from before.
No, don't summarize what you were saying. We're waiting for how do you all right. you know what? Let me not do that because I was told
I
I'm
just
too
want to know if
harsh.
this argument is based on a false premise or not, because I don't know. So that's why I'm asking you, as the one who's making the claim, to back it up with
I
something.
I used a general example like the other like you had used an example before. What was the example that you used earlier when you bring something up? I don't remember what example you used earlier, but you were saying that you were just using it as an example. Okay.
Who? Me or Themis?
Athena, sorry, I didn't know you guys did.
No, if this is what you're saying, they're not the same. You said she what does she mean she wanted more option? And I gave you an example of more option.
Yeah, but I'm asking where she said that though. I did not hear her say that. I watched the entire
No,
interview.
you
I
don't
didn't hear
get to say that because you literally said you heard her say it. We had a conversation.
I told you that I did not hear her say that.
No, you literally said you heard her say that.
No, I did not. No, because we disagreed on it. I literally told you I did not hear that.
I'm not
I
doing
was
that
here
with you.
listening, and what I think happened is that he said, oh, he left. He said that she was complaining about not having enough options or something like that. And then you were saying, no, it's not that she was complaining about whether or not she has options. She just wants more, something along those lines. She has options, but she wants more. And I think I wish he was here to clarify for himself, because
he left because he doesn't like the heat. The problem is he does not like the idea of women saying they're dating down. I've had this debate with many people before who was like, it's not dating down. What is it? You have less money, it is dating down. You have less education, it is dating down. It is what it is.
So more so the terminology, like the terminology.
Yeah, but it's more than that, because when pushed and I asked him about the terminology and then explained it, he didn't like the explanation either. So he just wants women to say, oh, I'm just dating regularly. No, they're not just dating regularly. It's dating down. It is what it is.
Yeah, because I do understand, not wanting to, I guess, like place value or say like down. I get that. But when you explained it, less money, like just objectively, like,
I want someone to say, I feel bad that you're saying that. Please don't say that. And I'll say, oh, okay, I won't say that. I would concede that. But you need to tell me you feel bad. You're not going to come up here and try to intellectualize something when it's just your ego bruise. No.
And, I thought that the original point that he was making was one that didn't necessarily need to be made, because I think it's just general knowledge that if you put more restrictions on something, there will be less results, I thought that's what his whole point was, but I don't know.
And that's not bad. Filter out people. That's good. Why would you want to pick from people who you wouldn't want to date? Filter them out.
And everybody does that, even if it's not about money. And I was gonna say that while he was talking, but y'all were talking. Even if it's not about money, everyone filters down. Like, who's gonna be like, I just date anyone on earth. Like, nobody does that. People, there are natural filters that just happen, like proximity and things like that, like, the circles you're in and whatnot. But then there are other ones, like, who do you find attractive? Whose personality do you like? I mean, that's just how it goes in general.
Oh, wait, the back chat, there are people in the back. Oh, I didn't even, all right, let's read these. Oh, my bad. And, it's already over 2 hours. All right, let's read the super chats. No more super chats. Let's read the super chats.
No more super chats.
There's a lot. Let's read them quickly and then add people. Everyone will get like 30 seconds to a minute before we wrap up. Go ahead.
Cynthia G, $5. Why are they having issues finding success in a society that they built where they have the disproportionate advantage?
Right.
Stars above the Emerald Forest, 199. NAB status took Black men out of the home.
NAB status.
Afro Butterfly, $5. Men fail to understand we are comfortable being single if our standards aren't met. Not settling. It's the standard or nothing. It's simple.
The reason I said it is because I feel like it is our obligation to read all the super chats. So yeah.
Stars Above the Emerald Forest, $4.99. The crying comes from men realizing that they are broke. I think that is their origin story and the last chapter. Origin story is like the word of the phrase of the show. Hey Haji, $1.99. Let me translate for you, Demas. No fair.
Have you heard?
Adrian Burrows, $9.99. She was actually speaking to the fact that men in general aren't leading, which makes it harder for women to be feminine. The conversation was about a comment about women being men in skirts.
Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Stars Above the Emerald Forest, $1.99. He wants a trophy for participating.
So I every single time I do this, I want to talk to men and see what they think. I'm like, yeah, I don't. I kind of don't. I mean, I do, but then I'm like, just like stand in your mess. Like, don't.
This is what needs to happen, Demas, I think. We have to bring a man on from the beginning to like be a guest.
Absolutely not.
That's how it has to go. Because I think
we have to vet them first. We'll vet first. Absolutely not. Because I'm not about to have my blood pressure run all the way up on here. Because like, women get to go to school. Yeah. No one is stopping you from going to school. It should not be that difficult to be equal to academically a woman. Like, it shouldn't be. Like, if a regular person goes to school and get a degree, there shouldn't be an issue for you. You should be able to do that. That's not like, it's not difficult. I don't know your circumstance, so it might be more difficult for you. But as a general matter, this idea that women have bachelor's degrees, so now I am outmatched. It's like, girl, stand up. Not girl, I'm talking to the man. Like, just stand up.
Talks with TK, $4.99. K is on one tonight, and I'm so absolutely here for it. Two L's, $2. This guy is a troll from the Manosphere. Yeah. I don't know what that acronym means.
I'll tell you afterwards.
ABC, $2. Wealthy man sleeps with hot fry cook, not Mary. Oh, what? See, I don't know what people be doing.
I was at an event in New York. Well, whatever. All of these people were all. This is so. No, I'm not going to explain this fully. But everyone was like married, and people were bragging about their wife and their husband. All of doctors were marrying accountants, were marrying attorneys. Like, it was just a bunch of young professionals, all of who were marrying each other. The idea that like, oh, these men are just. To be fair, a lot of men think like, oh, if you make 6 figures, then that means you're special somehow. No, you're just a regular person making 6 figures, and in New York, you're just like average. Like, it's fine.
Hey, Haji, $4.99. He just said a wealthy man wouldn't date a bus driver, but he's on the panel twerking because Eboni won't date one. Girl.
Please, if you put the acronym, please delete the acronym if you put it in the chat. We don't define the acronym.
Miss Kitty, $1.99. Are you only reading Sin super chats tonight?
No. What? We're going through all of the super chats.
Was yours lost, Miss Kitty, somewhere? Maybe there was one that.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I'm sorry if I missed any of the super chats. I thought I did all of them. My bad.
I thought so too.
All right, everyone have 30 seconds to a minute. Go. BB.
Hi, BB.
Hi, guys. I've been on here before, live from Cape Town, South Africa.
Hey, welcome.
No, I think these men want a premium submissive provider. They want the creme de la creme, and they're pissed because this woman wants to like starve them out. I'm convinced. And I think they're just upset that even though she didn't say, she didn't mention black men, I think black men just got triggered that her standards is not accommodating them. So like her standards would just completely filter them out. And I think that's what everyone's just butthurt about it, or butthurt about. And, no one actually wants to say, oh, well, this actually applies to like Black men. So I can't meet these standards. So that means she wouldn't date me. And I think that this is what it's about.
Yeah, ego.
So
Ego.
So instead of like just doing better and being competent and getting educated and filling out a job application, people are just getting like pissed.
Yep.
That's what
Thank
I've noticed so far. But yeah, that's my 30 seconds. Love you guys. Bye.
Love you. Thank you. Love that picture, by the way.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
really cute.
Hey, Kay. Love you too. Bye.
Bye.
The Sanderson sisters.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Yeah, this is my first time calling in. I'm really excited.
You're always in the chat. Thank you so much.
Yes. But yeah, basically I wanted to say something that I was watching for Harriet's latest video, and she actually said something that I think is really missing from the conversation, and I can also personally relate to. And when she said this, I was like, wow, thank you, girl, for saying this. But she basically pointed out in her latest video that it's not really just about money. It's about, when you talk about the term socioeconomic, right? There are two components to that: the money and then your class, as far as your, you know, where you
Social
went to
circle.
college. Yeah, your social circle. So she said it's not just about money, it's about what are you interested in? What books have you read, if any? Like, where do you go? What's your choice of place to go on a Saturday night? Are you comfortable taking me to the ballet? Because, I would love to go to the ballet. That's one of my interests. So it's like, because of someone's life experiences, where they might have gone to school, what their parents set them up for, what, for me, my mom made sacrifices for me to do. It's like, I feel like if you as a man can't even meet what my mom was able to do for me, then what's the point? And I'm also not going to be able to relate to you on certain things. And like for Harriet said, it's like, it's not easy. And people are missing this fact. It's not easy for you to overcome, like, just simply not being able to relate to someone. And it's not looking down on those people. Like, it's just kind of a fact of life. So
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Very well put. Even conversation, if you're going to have to define every word, let me stop. All right. Thank you.
Exactly.
Bye.
Bye.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Go ahead.
Hello.
How do you pronounce your name? Child, I can't. Never mind. That's one word. My bad.
Hello. Oh, yes. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's child. I can't. This whole conversation, I just can't. I've been watching so many videos on this topic, and I've been in comments just like, like the first girl said, that notice that the people who are the most triggered are Black men. I think everything that first caller stated is 100% true. I'm not saying that, other groups of men aren't triggered, but I just haven't seen that from, the videos I've been watching and like just like the comments. But I just find it, I don't know. I just find it so weird because at the same time, they can have their standards, their preferences. And, one guy was like, oh, imagine, going to school, going to college, and life happened and you just end up being a bus driver, blah, 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 blah. I didn't even read the rest of the comments, but I just went in and I was like, okay, well, I understand that. But also imagine, a woman meeting the love of her life, they get married, and they have kids, and something happens to that man and she becomes a single mom, and she goes online and she sees what a bunch of men just speaking on how single mom or this that they don't want to date them. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you guys can't, it's like we just can't win. And all she said was like, no, I'm not gonna date a bus driver. Does he own the company? Which is like you said, that's at her level. But yeah, that's really really all I have to say. I just
Yeah,
this thing is insane.
no, I appreciate that, and I agree with you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Please come up again when we have more time. I apologize. I'm rushing everyone through.
No, it's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cece.
Hi, Cece.
Yes. Hi. Can you hear
Hey.
me?
Yep.
Okay, so I actually kind of agree with the first guy with just, we're human beings. And I think that women in general should be able to, or men in general, as well as women, regardless whether we do date down, I think that we need to see each other out as human beings. I also
Agreed.
think that women should,
I mean, you can see someone as a human being and decide, I don't want to date you.
yes, but I do think that society is changing. I do think that some women need to consider dating down. Okay, I'm joking.
All right, I was like, some women need to consider dating that. I was like, but I do agree that we are all humans, and I think we should not use money to define people, but that doesn't mean you have to date the people that aren't making money. Like, I don't think it's right that you have to diminish who you are, particularly in terms of intellectually, right? um to make someone else comfortable. And what for Harriet says, I believe there's a lot of people who won't do the work. Like, even if the man doesn't have an education, right? And you're dating him, if he's someone who is like willing to learn and is like looking up the words as opposed to being mad at you for using big words, then maybe. But I, for money, I feel like women should be a lot less compromising when it comes to financial status, particularly not just for them, but for their offspring. Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted your time. 30 more seconds.
Okay, no, I agree. I totally came on here to like,
Troll.
yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I was wondering when your face was gonna change and be like, what?
The point is where you're like, you think some women, I'm like, girl.
Oh, I like your laugh. It's like, oh,
I'm sorry.
like it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kay. I'm joking, y'all. I agree with everything y'all said. I was just waiting for Timmons to be like, what? Okay, bye.
Bye. I appreciate it. Rochelle,
Hello.
did I get it right?
You did. You're
Good.
getting better all the time.
Hi, Rochelle.
Hi.
Melinda, you're the DJs before you and then you.
Okay. So I just wanted to say, I do not agree with the first guy, and also I do not agree with Iyanla. And also, I just wanted to say that I actually used to watch her show on OWN, Fix My Life, on when they had it in reruns, and there was like this very disturbing trend where I noticed like Iyanla would go super hard on the women all the time. She would yell at them. She would not have this compassion for the women, and she would just almost like she would berate them any chance she got if like they weren't they didn't have her mindset or her view of things. But when it came to the men, she would almost like coddle them and like be so compassionate and sweet and talk to them in this like calm, like relaxing tone, like it's okay, it's all right, I understand you. It's like what, what? But and so for the women, she always had it out for them, and I feel like there's there's something like somewhere deep inside. I feel like she just doesn't have the same level of like warmth and care for like women as she does for the men. And I think that's why she always gives the men like the benefit of the doubt, even if they're like completely in the wrong. Because it's just a pattern I noticed on her show a lot. And like when I noticed it, I couldn't unsee it. And I think like her life experience has shaped her mindset a lot. But it's really sad because it's like you're a woman and like you know what women have to go through, so why wouldn't you like be twice as compassionate for what women go through? And I just personally feel like she's taking everything she's experienced and like this kind of scarcity mindset and like strength and survival of the fittest kind of like warrior, I gotta do it all kind of mentality. And I think that's why maybe someone like what was the woman's name? The woman
No,
she was talking to?
I can agree with you because I haven't watched enough of her, but I definitely will go watch and look at that.
Well, actually, they took the reruns off his own, so
Oh, all right, never mind.
yeah, she's not getting those royalty checks anymore, unfortunately. But I think that was just one thing when she was talking to that other woman who said she would like to be with a man who actually maybe owns the bus company, and how she was just so ready to just like almost humble her and tell her like her standards were too high. And it's like, why? Why is it so bad when black women have standards that are like high or like even above average? Like, why is it you always have to feel like you have to humble black women, quote unquote? It's like we don't have to be in this scarcity mindset of like struggle or just like you know gotta
Yeah,
gotta make it out alive type of mentality. Like it's okay to have standards. It's okay to have them even high and like find someone on your level. It's not a crime. So I definitely think she's in the wrong for that.
yeah. No, I agree with you. Well, to the extent that's true, then I would agree with you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Hi, DJ.
Hey, Themis. Hey, Kay.
Hi.
Hey.
All right. So, this is what I wanted to say. I just find it very frustrating that people keep bringing up personality and character. If you're at the dating stage with someone, you don't know them that well. So, if you've only been on a few dates with a guy, you may find out if he has a degree. You may find out if what he does for a living, what car he drives, and where he lives. So, you can probably make an assumption about his socioeconomic position. And if you do come to the realization that you may have more money and or be more educated, this is dating down. And the reason why is because you don't know him well enough to speak on his character, so you can't consider that his character makes up for anything. So
Period.
black women, to me, dating down, it's a reality that the men's just want us to really ignore because facing it would negatively influence the way we see them. And they want us to date down, but ultimately they don't want us to act like it. If a woman
Period.
chooses to set an income standard, she won't even consider a man's character if he doesn't make enough. And that's why they take issue with this. Because in this way, the woman isn't giving the man the opportunity to swindle her, give her a false sense of security, and get in her good graces so that he can have access to that coin. So I don't want to hear none of this about taking issue with dating down. I understand that it has a negative connotation, but that's ultimately what you're doing. If you're still at the stage where you're getting to know someone and you know that you make more money and or you're of a higher education level, you are dating down, but you can decide for yourself if you want to leave it there or see where it goes. That's all I
And
wanted to
that
say.
period. And that will be a short. I will send it to be cut into a short. Thank you so much.
Ooh, okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Melinda.
Hi,
Let's see,
Melinda.
hey there. I made bullet points. Hey there, K2 in chat. I was just thinking no other women are even spoken to this way. What Iyanla said should be also pretty embarrassing, but it's not. It just lets you know how deep into our socialization and black culture, so to speak, is. And also like when black men like the one who called in, he really can't speak for, men who he thinks have money or wealth. They really can't speak for those men and what those men choose. Also, values determine your economics. And also, let's see what I'll put down. I think the problem is that what these black men are feeling, if black women start to have standards, who they apparently are seeing as, they shouldn't have standards, shouldn't have any expectations, then they are really screwed. Because if the lowly black woman starts to have standards and have expectations, then they know where that leaves them. Because as long as you're cheerleading for them, they're looking good to even other women, right? And so that's what black women have mostly been doing. I also said that black women have been black men's best public relations, best PR, and black men have been black women's worst. So that's another thing. And I think that Ebony meant Black men when she was speaking to Iyanla. I mean, she did say across, everything. And I'm not, maybe Ebony has more experience with that, but I'm just thinking it would have been worse and Iyanla would have been even more passive aggressive had Ebony just said Black men. Because Iyanla was definitely talking about Black men. And I think Iyanla was kind of copying that that phrase of, not you're trying to qualify for what you don't qualify for. And that's really what Iyanla was saying to her. Also, let's see, protect and provide. Okay. Also wanted to say that, oh goodness, I forgot. Wait. I think that's it. I just forgot. I lost my thought, but that's what I wanted to say.
Oh, thank you. I like that you had bullet points, so I appreciate that.
Thank
you.
you. Okay.
Asma, did I pronounce it right?
Yes, yeah, you did.
Go ahead.
I actually had a question for you, and I've just been thinking about this lately, and I've said it to my husband, and he disagrees with me. But I think that is there such thing as a gold digger? Because when I think about it more and more, I don't think there is. And I think you played a video a couple months ago with Jordan Peterson on some Manosphere YouTube channel, and he mentioned that women take on more sexual risk than men do. They're the ones that have the children, and should the men leave or something happens, they're the ones raising them in most cases. So and there's other things I can think of that I can't think of right now because I'm kind of nervous. I'm always nervous whenever I talk to you for some reason.
Oh no,
it's weird. But I have great respect for you, and I just really love your show. At any rate,
thank you. I appreciate that so much.
But yeah, no, really, I was curious to know what your take is. Is there actually such thing as a gold digger, and is it really just a term that's just been made up to shame women, into not wanting more for themselves?
Well, yes, it is a shaming tool, but is there such thing? If a gold digger is defined as a woman who only dates a man for his money, then there is such a thing as a gold digger. Is it relevant? No. Is it meaningful? No. If someone call you a gold digger, should you care? I would say no. But if a gold digger is defined as a woman, for example, who dates men for money, then sure, based on the definition, but I wouldn't care about it.
Yeah. Well, I want to know, is there a definition or a term for a man who only dates women who are youthful and beautiful or something like that, without any regard for their what they think or
So the
their
question
education?
about the gold digger wasn't is there such a thing as a gold digger, but rather are people trying to define women in the way that they're defining men, as it was relating to how men and women operated based on how society is structured. And by that, then you are right. Gold digger is meaningless because you would have had to find a way to define men who only want women to look a certain way, because historically that was what it was. Women dated men for money and men dated women for whatever they wanted, beauty and youth or whatever, because women couldn't work.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was it. Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Theman.
No, I appreciate that question too, by the way. And I'm glad you didn't just have a question, but you had a sort of framework, because it wasn't just the gold digger question that you had. You had, well, what would we call a man? And I appreciate that because it made me think more. So I appreciate that.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Someone said predator. Miss Kitty, so my calling is to be a teacher. They don't make much. I quit teaching to find a man that makes much money. If so, who's gonna teach? Period. Curry Up and Eat says you can vet them, but you can't vet to pockets. I think you can't vet the pockets. Concern you're the last person, go off.
Well, I want to point out that based off of a quick Google search, So not super, super deep research, but based off a quick Google search, I realized that Ayanla did not date or marry bus drivers. She dated and married. For her first marriage was a businessman and a lecturer, and the second marriage was an architect. So in reality, she doesn't have the receipt.
Wait, hold up. I'm not gonna look into this because I don't care about her personal life. But like the fact that she's telling y'all need to date down, but she wasn't doing it. Period. Go ahead.
Exactly. And when I am hearing her stand up and put herself as this, fix my life, all the above. Obviously, your experience and being older, you can pass on wisdom. But in the conversation we had much earlier when Tiff was on, she mentioned that I want to share with the broader audience. She mentioned that people of different generation are giving a lot of prescriptions to a world that they no longer fully understand because we are talking about, a world where I was listening to this book today. It's called The Pathless Life. Like during the time when these people were coming up, it was also a time of great economic growth where it was much easier to get there. And so
you don't know this, and I don't expect you to know this, but was she dating the architect and the other businessman when she was married when she was masculine or after she was masculine?
Listen,
did she
right.
start dating them when her femininity arc started?
Totally. And this is the thing that frustrates me is what are we vetting for? Like, so we need to vet. What are we vetting for? Let us name those things because should it be based off of what these people come in already with? Because by those, should women not date men who have had previous children? Should women not date, because that is proof that you are willing to leave a relationship with a woman, as a single mother, right? Unless we're talking about poly. If you have previous children, you are currently single, there's a single mother somewhere, right? So to me, it's like when we start talking about some of the things that they hate so much, and I know this is something we've brought up a couple of times, but the things that they hate so much, and wanting women to be so open-minded when they have a laundry list of things they will not tolerate that are based off of the most trivial, inconsequential things. It's just it's just confusing.
As the shovel carriers, we should go where the goal is. Sorry.
I mean, yes, and right, like, what do people want from what do older Black women? What is their goal in these conversations? Right, like somebody said earlier, to shame, humble, to feel better than all the above, but those I think are surface goals. I feel like there's something else that needs to be examined for why you would be so adamant about it and make that your ministry. Because
I think a lot of them don't know. Well, that was bad. I was going to say a lot of them don't know any better, and I still believe that. But softly put, I think this is the best they know how to engage. I'm not talking about Iyanla. I think Iyanla just saying what she wants to say. But I think a lot of older people, I think they have a lot of wisdom, just FYI. But I do worry that their relationship to truth in the way they understand it and their relationship to community clouds their judgment in terms of giving advice to young women. Because at the end of the day, they're going to blame you for being a single mother if you become a single mother to someone who can provide. And the side, even I was watching the Love at First Sight thing. What's her name? She came out and said the guy that she chose cheated on her. Anyway, and her mom was telling her like she needed to stay with him and like she needed to work it out. And so I think a lot of women older women and older men and older people generally, they don't know what's best, but they're doing the best they can with what they. Iyanla, that's probably why I couldn't remember her name, and Jared, because it was so close to the one we're talking about now. But anyway, you can close and then we can, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that all sounds right. It's just really frustrating because this woman came on or got on because of a black woman who built, because Oprah built, you know? Like Oprah is still not married to Stewart or whatever his name is. She is living in her masculine, and even though they had issues, right? Like the just her network, her conversation, the way like there's the dream that she's selling, and the fact that she is also a single mother who decided to divorce twice. She's not currently coupled with anybody as far as the internets know, right? The quick Google search and all the above. And the reason I'm not saying this to tear Iyanla down, but to just name how quickly and easily people can ascend to some authority when they have no baseline to have this conviction. Like, God bless the lawyers. It's a very important job. It's a very lucrative job. She can teach me how to make sure that I organize myself in a way to get to where she is at. But to me, it's how dare you pretend you can fix somebody's life? Like, why would anybody position themselves?
If Oprah is paying me to go fix people's life, I will be fixing people's life.
All right.
Yeah, I will have your head in the ground asking you to talk to the. Yes, you remember that. You remember that scene when she had that man's head in the ground telling them to talk to the earth or something. And when she went and go hid behind the bushes, I'll do it. I will fix your life.
And on that,
pay me millions, and I will be there too, slapping the death. Not on my watch. Anywho, my bad.
Well, those were my closing thoughts. It's the audacity for me as always, and also but you didn't do that though.
Go weep in the bushes. That's me. Hey, thank you, Concerned. I appreciate that.
All right, have a good night, guys.
You too. Can you imagine people but got stuck on the bus on the way to the mines, all the shovel training for no reason? Vet those pockets. All right. We are done. Let me run the outro and then say our closing in the end. Thank you all so much for being here.
Who is that?
No one. What are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I thought this was a really good conversation. I looked at the time and I was like, oh my goodness, we've been here for 3 hours. It flew by. It flew.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's not great.
No, it's fine. I just didn't realize because it was really good.
Not good. Like, my God, I'm so sorry. You have a life.
I thought it was about to go to bed.
All right, well, I won't keep you. Have a good night. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thank you, everyone in the chat, even the young gentlemen who came up. I'm trying to be nicer to men's because I'm trying to talk to more men's, but I'm not about to sit here and hear the foolishness. But you're all welcome. Like it how we do it this time. I go for mine. I got not me. Anyway.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.